Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Encounters, UFO, spiritual UFO talk show. Marty, Vito, everybody coming in. We had quite a night last night. Hey, Carol, Susie Q, everybody on Unlearn to Learn. Debbie, everybody, Bifrost, Pat, everybody out there, Diane. CmdrAleon here with you, host of WESU's Sunday morning show, the Ashtar Command Show, every Sunday morning for the last 20 years on NPR Pacific Radio. I'm also, for those coming in, I always like to give a quick bio for new people. I'm also a contactee since the 1960s. I'm also a conduit for the Christ level, and also a host of this show. Also, I work with, before the internet even existed, with websites. So I've been working directly with the Ashtar Galactic Command, known as the Ashtar Command. And I've been involved with that since I was able to be old enough to know. Maria, welcome to the show. Michael, user 880. Hey, good to see you out there, Bifrost. Linda Lovely, hello. Papa Joe Fish, welcome. Just checking everybody out here. TikTok Police shared the live. Thank you, TikTok Police. We appreciate that very much. And Donna and everyone else, Cassandra, Johnson, Diesel Dougie, I think it is, O'Shea, 1960, Steph Graham. So, it was a great show last night. The show last night is on my YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News on YouTube. You can watch the latest show from last night. And when you watch the show, initially, you'll hear us talking to make contact with Galactic. And when we do make contact a couple of time, my friend over on Earth in Arizona, John Connors, was very instrumental in being the transmitter. Galactic spoke in English through his consciousness. There was no channeling. It was direct conscious communications. But what I'm going to do is, I've actually decided to ask Galactic to utilize my app. I have an app here, which I won't say. I'm going to see if Galactic can use the electronic app, which it did when it played Billie Holiday. And last night, Galactic even stated and confirmed that they're the ones that played the music of Billie Holiday on the app, which got me to get up from my broadcast a few weeks ago and go into my daughter's room, and I heard Billie Holiday. And he actually said word for word, if you listen to the show on my YouTube channel, you'll hear him say the song about "I'm going to the moon and we'll see you soon." He said that in English last night, and you'll hear it. That was the first contact that he made with us using the app. How ingenious, how amazing that was. Now that I know that, the more I've meditated and learned about it, if they can play music on an app, then he can probably speak through the app and speak if he wishes to. So I've come to not a conclusion, but a better understanding that they can interact on any particular form of communications using electronics, using TikTok, using the app. They're able to communicate beyond our understanding. They can tune into the frequency of the app itself, I believe. Now, I thought about this today, and I've actually concluded that if he wishes to speak, he can use the app just like he did with Billie Holiday. And I don't know, so yeah. And Alexa's spinning around because she was unplugged by accident earlier. So, Alexa, stop. I'm not sure what's happening with Alexa, but she's doing her own thing. So tonight's going to be, I was saying tonight's going to be kind of a regular night, which is kind of weird. And then I start thinking about it. Well, is there ever a night on here that's a regular night, whatever that is? Then I started thinking about it, meditating. Said, there's never going to be a regular night. There's not going to be a regular night. There is no regular night. Hey, Jan, good to see you. Doodles, welcome to the show. Hey, peace, love, and light, marinade. Good to see everybody here. Lasso, I think Lasso. Just seeing some of the names coming in here. Hey, Chezno. Good to have you with us, brother. So we're going to see the things that will happen here tonight. We're going to try to do some interviews with people who want to share their encounters and visitations. And I think it's important to realize, that Galactic is, and the people on his ship are probably listening right now to this radio program. Not radio. What am I saying? I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow. I'm so used to saying radio. That's because I've been on radio for 20 years. Better listening to this broadcast here visually on TikTok. So, I know Galactic is listening. I know they're probably the whole group of his people are listening to this show. And, however that works, again, I don't know how that works for them. I mean, I think I kind of do know, but I think Galactic is certainly listening. He has become, hey, Jody and everyone else coming in here. New City of Peace, welcome. Cookie and Sassy Shoots. Johnny Miller, good to see you, brother. Dog Walker, he's right next to you. I promise you, just gets him to mess with your electronics. You know what, dog? I believe it. I believe it since we have a relationship with their civilization. Because you both good to have you with us. And if anyone else now understands something, I'm sitting in my normal chair. I've got a nice blanket behind me of the stars of the universe. It's like this really cool blanket. I got it last year. And so, I will just say to Galactic, if he wishes to speak, he can speak. And if he is right behind me, obviously he can speak. And if you want to use an app here, he certainly can. Give me a moment. I'm going to... let's see if there's a message from Alexa. Hold on just a moment, folks. Alexa. Let me... Alexa, stop. Let's see here. What's going on? Okay, I just turned the app back on. I think it was just needed to be replugged in. I'm sure she does. Sharon, I'm sure she does have a message. So we're going to let her do her thing for a minute. I just replugged her in, reset her, and we'll see if she has a message. Margaret, welcome. Jane Arness, welcome everybody. See or hear yet anyhow. That's true. That is true. Many people can't see or hear anyhow. And actually, it's actually Ghetico, Ghetiko. Ghetico is the actual spelling for people who don't know the name of the space being. So the spelling is Ghetico, Gheikeo, Ghetico. I wrote it down anyway. Thank you for the roses. Hey, I'm going to bring Chezno up here with me. Hey, Romeo, Jackie, welcome to the show. Yeah, Ghetiko, Ghetico. I think it's with a K instead of a C. He actually spelt his name out last night because people asked him, how do you spell your name? And he spelt it twice. Yes, that's it. Ghetiko, Ghetico. That's right. Gaiteko, Ghetico. That's right, Ghetico. Last night was wild, and I told people when I put on YouTube, I told people watch for a while, because he gets upset when, he gets upset if we keep asking his name over and over again, because that's really not as important to him. That's, he's here to, interact with us for very more specific questions. He also has the people from his system, his star system, have a very, I feel, a very important sense of humor. He does have a sense of humor. Yes, Gaiteeko. That's right. And he has a really beautiful sense of humor, and it's a beautiful thing. Their people are here. They're here for a mission, and let's see here. And we can get Chezno up here. Teresa, welcome everybody. So now the app is working. Alexa, who is here right now? Welcome to King. This is Mary DeQuint. Okay. I was just checking Alexa. Hey, Chezno, how you doing, brother?
Hey, good. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm trying to pair my Bluetooth.
Oh,
I don't
you're
know if you
doing
can hear
good.
me.
I can hear you well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, everything is working well. So, hey, I like that picture. That's great. That's a good background right there. I like it.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying earlier, as I was thinking about last night, that Godico is probably listening, not just him, but his whole grouping of people on their ship. So um, I also will invite him to utilize my application of the app, which I will not mention because it's right across from me here. But I would figure that he can speak through any electronic application if he wishes to. I don't see why not. It kind of makes sense, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's most of the time, that's how they communicate with you through electronics. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to dismiss anything.
yeah. So, I can't tell you that he's not going to be here or he's going to be here anymore because I really don't have any. I don't think nobody has any control. I don't think we have like control of when they come through, when they wish to speak. We have no control. I also understand. I feel that when we're talking about something really interesting, that he will want to participate. So he'll know what to do. If it's really an interesting discussion, I think he will come in whenever he wants to. It doesn't matter whether it's Friday night or, Sunday morning or whatever. I think it's just a matter of whatever he wants to do. I, it's a learning experience. What I find fascinating last night, he did acknowledge his group is the one that made the app play that music the night I was on, and he was kind of singing the song in English. When John Connors here was on, he was translating it in English to his consciousness, and that was a beautiful thing. I mean, that was right there. It said, "Oh, they did it," and he confirmed they're the ones who played the music. They turned the
Hmm.
app on and played the music to get my attention, and they sure did. So that was the initial contact. And of course, it's all documented because it's all on my YouTube channel. You'll probably have to go back a number of shows to find it. But there'll be but everything's titled, so it won't be hard to find it. You can hear that show when the initial contact started. What does that mean? You and I have talked about it. I've talked about it since late last year, always about contact coming soon. How we're going to have contact, how that has been something Bashar through Daryl Anka talked about 2027, how we're going to have contact, right? And all these times we talked about contact, and what happens? We have
Hmm.
contact.
Yeah,
We
I
do
think
it.
maybe even sooner than that. Maybe even like next year. That'd be cool, right?
Mhm.
But at the latest, 2027.
Yeah, at the latest. I think that what I thought would be contact would be like all these galactic ships coming to Earth, and then all the governments like going into the bathroom because they're all nervous now because they've been lying to the public for 70 years. That'd be
Mm.
kind of a funny cartoon,
Yeah, yeah.
but then when you have the contact Chesno like this, it's like different because now you're saying, we've talked about individuals who have been contacted since the 50s and 60s at Giant Rock. Those people have passed on their human lives, many of them. Some of them are still around, but those were the first of our current history of contactees, right? And now this happens.
Example.
And, you know, it's not like it's exclusive because there have been historical references to other people that have not been abducted. They've been taken on spaceships or what they call flying saucers, and they've been contacted. So there's a great history. I have books from contactees that I collected to understand the history. Those are the only books I really have. I don't read a lot
Hmm.
of books,
And
but
so
those
many
are the books that,
people get contacted and don't even come forward. So just think of
yeah.
it's probably even the quadruple of what's reported.
Oh, yeah. You know, I mean, the
And that's
most
a
of
good
these
thing about
people,
this show is this is an opportunity for people to come forward, you know?
yeah, almost
That's the beauty
definitely.
of it.
And you know, we've heard stories from people who have been contactees. We've heard
Hmm.
abductees, but we've heard contactees, which is different. And now I even have a better reference. Uh, Even though he physically doesn't appear, even though when he does come, like the other night, someone said they saw him tapping on my shoulder. So he explained why he didn't physically appear. But I am not the least bit afraid of him or any of the people from the ship appearing in the room. I don't think the energy would affect me any in terms of that. I think I am much more prepared to look at him and let him appear, you know, when
Hmm.
he's ready to. I think there's going to be that time when that will happen. So now we have Contact 101, which is, you know, him speaking on our program coming through TikTok and through my app over a month ago. I think the next level of contact here, which I want to pursue, is when he's ready to physically have contact. Or I'd like to see a point where we can go somewhere in Connecticut into an open field and maybe they have a smaller craft or smaller ship and we can meet them face to face that way. So there's a lot of things going through my mind now about how this will work. I think if they want to physically contact me, um, they can because we've established contact. We've established the trust between their world and our world. And if you have that trust, they know that we're the humans, we're the people, we're the other humans on this planet that are not from here, you know, that we can be trusted to want to learn from each other. And there's a lot we can learn from their civilization in the constellation Sirius, where they're from, I believe. Karen, thank you. And it's all a learning experience. I think we have to be open to learning. I've also learned that I'm going to be very careful not to be swayed by human beings who have opinions from their mental thinking of the 3D mind. Because if people hear the space being, there'll be some people coming in and making comments that you have to do this, you have to do that. And no, I don't have to do anything. I'm
Hmm.
prepared for those people because those people have no idea what's going on. They're still stuck in a time frame that they have no idea what's happening. They don't know anything about the cosmic spiritual levels of light. They don't know, you know, my experiences and being a person that has been awakened for a lot of years. You know, I've pretty much seen most of it in terms of what the subject's about, and I know my stuff. You know, in terms of protecting myself, I know my stuff, and you know, so when the contact happened, you know, it's a feeling. You already have a feeling they aren't ready and not meant to be. Yeah, they're not ready. That's true. Hey, Opal Star. They're just don't. You know, when people are ready, that time will come for people. When people are ready to experience it, it'll happen. You know, one thing my friend Athena would tell us in LA, who's with Ashtar Command, who I've been to, who I know is just like my cosmic mom. Uh, she would say, it's waves upon waves upon waves. So these waves come in. You know how you go to the beach when the analogy is the wave comes in, a little wave comes in, and then it gets bigger and bigger waves come in. But the waves keep coming in, right? Well, they never stop. So these waves keep coming in. So it's waves of conscious awakening. So there might be 5,000 people watching this or 2,000 people at the end of the night who've watched this or whatever. Everyone who hears my voice or hears the show of you or me, whatever, or other people who are awakened in this program, and there are many, they will be affected by other people's energies. Not so much their opinions or what they think or what they believe. You know, They'll be affected by the vibrational frequency of the voice. They'll be affected by someone else's ability to share. Now, like I said, I don't read any books. I read very few books. And my ability is I will say to people, I am a cosmic book. I'm a galactic book. My book has many chapters. Your book, meaning you out there, some of you already know that you're starting to have openings of your own chapters of your own experience. So it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Each person here is a sense. Did you see that? Wait a minute. Or maybe it's a train. I just heard something. Okie dokie. I swear I just heard something. So, uh, man,
It's an
no,
every night thing now.
yeah, so we're like a galactic book. And as a galactic book, each of you, we all will learn as time goes on. It's a wave of experience. It's a way. I'm starting to feel this energy here. I swear, I'm starting to feel this energy coming through. Man, no, there was no motorcycle. There was no train going by. It came right through the speaker of my app here on the phone. And the reason I know that is because you're all confirming that something happened just now. So I'm going to continue talking. That threw me off. But what I'm trying to say is that everybody has the opportunity to grow, and everybody on this planet has the opportunity to learn. They can expand, and yes, let it flow naturally. And that's the important thing. Hey, friends with Terry, it's good to have you with us. And I'm now completely understanding how communications works. I didn't quite totally understand it. I thought I did, but I learned something. I learned very quickly. My consciousness rapidly learns very quickly that, like I said, if Gadico wants to speak, he can go right on here and speak without any radios. Doesn't need a radio. Why would he need a radio? He went on the app over less than a month ago and turned on my application of my other app and had the Billie Holiday songs. So he doesn't need a radio.
Right. He can
Like I
manipulate
said,
anything he wants for sure.
yeah, yep. And I know they're here. I know he's listening. I could swear right now, I'm not going nuts. I heard what I thought was his voice. I could swear I heard his voice speak just now. Now I haven't even said anything. I'll just say Gadico. I'm not even calling him out. I'm just saying Gadico. Gadico, we love you. I say that. Who's he? Okay, the person said, who's he? Gadico is a space being from the constellation Sirius. EVE, welcome to our show. So I know there's some people who are not sure who Gadico is. It's a space being that made a contact with me less than a month ago through my daughter's application in her room while I was on TikTok here and played a Billie Holiday song. And at the end of the song, it says, we're going to the moon. I can always get the words not completely correct. We're going to the moon and I'll see you soon. And Gadico, when he was on last night speaking, he said the words to the music. I said to him, Gadico, did you have that music play to get my attention? He said, yes. So he was responding in translation in English. Their language is not English, although I do believe they can probably speak different languages from different civilizations. Like I said, just about less than a couple minutes ago, I swear, and everybody else can tell me they heard it. This is all being recorded. It sounded like he was trying to come through. It sounded like Gadico was trying to come through, And I don't know how much energy it takes from where they are on their ship to, come through. But if Godico is here, again, I put always a protection around this program. I ask that the Ashtar Command, the Christ of Beings of Light, protect everybody, the program always, to protect everything. We have a big bubble of protection in this whole area, logistically, longitude, latitude of frequency. So, yeah. And when we talk about these things, about the dynamics of contact, I think it's really important that people know that you're not alone, that everybody here has someone out there or someone's that you're connected to. You know, as it happens to me, I want to share that so that you can learn from it. You know, what we have happen to us is not for us to just keep here. Plus, they're broadcasting with us on the program without any radio stations or anything. They're able to come right through any application you have, no matter what the electronics are. It doesn't matter. And they don't even need the electronics. If they want to physically appear in your kitchen, they can appear in your kitchen. If they want to appear somewhere next to you, they can appear next to you. They don't have any limitations. You see, humans have to understand something. Everything in our world is based on a 3D concept of reality, right? Everything we've been taught is on a 3D concept of reality. When you break that concept, when you say, well, I've been lied to for over 70 years, and when you break the concept of everything you've been taught in school, wherever country you're in, wherever you are, and you start to realize, I've been lied to for 70 years on this planet, and they don't want us to know. And then these, what I call they, are people in different governments around the world, in the scientific community or in the top secret levels of cosmic top secret communities, that are using every effort they can to prevent communications between our space family and the human population. The space family and the human population. They will use everything to distort frequencies on wavelengths, on radios, on everything they can do to prevent people from having a beautiful experience, right? That's the intention. Now,
Hmm.
understand there are people within these agencies that are opposed, that are supportive of disclosure, supportive of you having knowledge of information that you shouldn't be lied to anymore. There's a big struggle going on our planet in all these governments that have people that are pro disclosure and those that are not, that want to keep it secret for another 1,000 years. But the time is up. As a contactee when I was a kid, and now as a contactee with Godico, I can tell you your time is up. And if any government agents are listening to this show, I can tell you it's not going to be stopped. Right, Chezno? It's not going to be
That's
stopped.
right.
You're not going to
Absolutely.
stop it.
Can't stop
No one's
all
going
of
to stop
us.
it. Nope.
Right.
Not going to be stopped as I'm drinking my apple cider. Nothing. I am so excited for everybody here. I'm excited for all of you. I'm excited for every single person here. Why am I excited? Because you're loved. You're loved by our galactic family. They are here. They've been here for billions of years before we had the technology we have, like cell phones and internet and all these things that we use, TikTok or whatever. They've been here. They are here, right? So we are the ones. We are the people here that have to show the ones here, the humans here on this broadcast and others. We have to show the best part of who we are. We have to show the best part of who we are. And there is a great deal of people here that are beautiful souls that came here. You're in the human body. You have families, biological families. You might have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, sisters, brothers, and you might be the only one in your family that is the one that is having the experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. In my family, I was the one. Godico told me the story, and you listened to the show, how they knew about me when I was in my mother's womb. He talked about that last night. He says, Commander, we knew about you when you were in your mother's womb. We remember you when you were running in a field. And when I was thinking about that, I asked him, what field? And then I started thinking about it. It's possible I was running in a field somewhere, But then I kept thinking I was on another planet running in a field. Somewhere on another planet, I was running on a field as a little kid. But they remember my life experiences on Earth. They know everything about my experiences. They know my whole history.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When, yeah, I mean, you're right, Chezno. I mean, he knows. If I was to ask him my life history,
Oh yeah,
he
I
knows my
guarantee he
whole.
knows every thought you've probably ever had.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sure of it.
Every thought. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that I have a connection to their civilization on some level
Yeah, they have
that I,
access to that kind of thing in the higher dimensions, I think.
yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
It's, and each one of you, like I said, it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Everybody, if you have not had the experience of what the contact was for me over a month ago, whatever, with the music, you will eventually have contact when it's ready for you, when it's your time. So don't even feel sad about it or why haven't I had any contact. It's not a competition. It's all a matter of when you're ready. It's when you are ready. Who knows when you're ready? I don't know. There's no way I'm going to know, but you will know in your heart when you're ready for contact. It will just happen. It'll be your time, you know? Yeah, it has to be natural. That's right. And Teresa, you will, when the time comes, you will. And I guarantee everybody will at some point in the next few years, you will be ready to have that contact. You will know. It'll be on a level of understanding that will be beautiful for everybody.
Mm. And most likely you've already had contact and weren't even aware of it because they're always above
Right.
our heads. And even in the dream state, they visit you. So more than
Yeah.
likely you have had contact.
And not only that, you just don't, like you're saying, Chezno, they just don't remember yet. A lot of people,
Mm.
I think a lot of it is um, the space brothers that you're connected with, their sisters, I call it. They will know when you're ready to unlock that memory. You might not be ready for that memory to be unlocked. Jane
Hmm.
Otter says you'll have ships for very few beings. That's all right, Jane Otter. You'll eventually see beings when the time's right. You will. In my life, I don't remember a time with no contact. Interesting. The dawn. And I think I had a regression and remembered I was visited as a child. Oh, beautiful Kit Kat. You see, everybody has a story to tell in terms of remembering things. And that's so beautiful to have that ability to remember your experiences. And now when you're in a thing like here where we broadcast a show for the purpose of not just doing a UFO spiritual talk show, but to hear people's stories, to get you and people write their comments here, their experiences. It's a beautiful thing. You're seeing that other people, as you read other people's notes here, that they have had experiences too, that you're not alone anymore, that there's nobody, whether you're new to this or not, you will never be alone. If you're here on this show, you will learn so much. There are times, Jan says, Commander, when everyone says they are getting downloads, can you understand the information? Um, some people can. When I get downloads, I understand the information. How about you, Chesno?
Yeah, I get downloads all the time actually. What it is, it's just this inner knowing that like you're 1000% sure of, and it came from nowhere, somewhere in the ether. Ideas are energy, and they just get bounced around to the next person. So, I think they come from like the sun. I think the sun like shoots out information, and we collect it. That's why you sun
Mm,
gaze like at night and when the sun rises, and that's how you get downloads. But I get like pretty fascinating downloads. I would say at least like once a week.
mm, that's pretty amazing. Anna says,
Mm,
my daughter and her aunt were contactees. My kid said she had no memory. And the kid might not have any memory. The kid probably might have had experiences but doesn't remember them. It's hard to say. There's always that one person or two people in your family. You might have five brothers or two brothers and a couple of sisters or mother and father or whatever, and two people out of that grouping in the family biologically have had contact, while the other three don't have any memory of having the interaction with those space people, right? But that's okay because it's not going to be that way for everybody. My brother,
mm,
he never had any contacts, at least that I know of. In my
And
family, I was only my brother and myself, and I was the one who was the contact. My brother, at least, never talked about anything like that.
yeah, and some people are still curious about the downloads. You really have to meditate as well. It's you have to open like your third eye to actually really receive them, you know. And I know your third eye's open, Commander, but it's essential for downloads.
Yeah, it really is important for the downloads. If you go to your third eye, and you know what the third eye is, if you're open in your consciousness, many people try to figure out what ways they can do to connect with the space, brothers and sisters. All right. It's not like a contest where you're like running on a track trying to be the winner in a track. You keep going around the track, right? In the Olympic Games, and you're trying to be the Olympian, and all these 20 other people are running too, to be the first one, second, and third one. It's not like a race to get there. Don't ever think of yourselves as being in a race right now to get there and say, well, why can't I get there? How come I'm not getting there? How come I've not gotten there? Don't think that way. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am a beautiful being, a being of light. I'm in human form, and I will get there. You
Hmm.
know, Kraken says it happened to me at a time in life when I was very depressed. See, it's just everything is different for every single person, and I want people to know that I'm here not just to hear stories, but to help people. So I'm here to help people too, to help
Yeah,
you.
and a lot of times the universe will separate people and put them in a
Mm.
position of depression and loneliness to guide them to have a spiritual awakening. I noticed. Um, so if you feel like you're having a tough life or you're not really sure why, that's probably why.
And two peoples, Julie Orchard said, I just had a dream last night of a huge UFO aircraft coming to Earth last night, which is you probably had more than a dream. Karen 82 says, I had UFO dreams last night too. That's two people. So uh, I believe when I hear stories like that in the senses, I see that is actually what I call the cosmic dream. It's not just a regular dream. That means that you, in your sleeping state, had possibly even contact. And if you had those kind of dreams, now you have to ask yourself, uh, who are you? Where are you from? And you can ask those questions consciously. Now that you had the dream, make sure you allow yourself to ask the question with a protection of Christ consciousness, who you are and, where you're from. I think if people do that, you will take that cosmic dream that you just mentioned, the two of them. If you do that, you will actually find out that it wasn't a dream at all, that in your sleeping state, you actually had an encounter. What you call a huge UFO or spaceship, you probably are operating in a frequency of contact at that point. So you want to meditate, ask questions, and go back to the dream. And that's where you're going to find the information in that dream that you had the other night. So
Hmm.
it's interesting. Both of them had dreams about UFOs. I call them spaceships.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's dreaming is it's a slippery slope because you don't really know what's real, like especially with like UFO and ET dreams, because it
Yeah.
could really be real.
And you don't know. Like, I'm actually fading. I can't know why I'm fading in and out of the picture here. Wait a minute. That's kind of weird. But anyway, I'm here. I'm kind of fading into the earth a little bit here. It's kind of weird. But that's the thing. What you're saying, Chezno, is true. People are going to find soon enough. And as we get into the end of this year, even before the end of this year, things are happening. When we talk about our intergalactic brothers and sisters, like I said, when it comes to contact, they can broadcast whenever they want. You know, I believe, they will know when to be here. They're not intrusive. One thing I will say is, uh, Godico and the people on his ship are not intrusive. They are very respectful of the space that we're in. And if they wish to come in and say, oh, I like that topic, we'd like to comment, they will speak. And if I say, Godico, are you here? Like I say right now, and I really say, Godico, are you here? Are you hearing the show? What do you think? Are you watching the show? What do you think? I can say that 2 or 3 times right now. Hey, Chris, if I say Galactic, I'm here talking about the galactic levels. Would you like to join us? And I'll say right now, Galactic, if you'd like to join us, I know you're here. You made a little bit of a sound there earlier in the show. Don't feel hesitant to speak, Galactic, if you're here. So I'll put that out there. I just put the invitation out to Galactic, and I know that either he will speak or not speak, if he wishes to speak. And whatever frequency they're broadcasting or listening on to us, they will come in if they wish to come in. Normally what will happen is there'll be a static noise, like when it first happened, a static buildup. And that's how they started communicating, through static. So people need to understand, I've learned a lot in the last month or so about how they communicate. And there's a static. It's a certain kind of static that allows them to come through. Let's see. Birdie says, I woke up with a fragment pierced through my ear. Do you have any way to test the material type? Interesting, Birdie. I woke up with a fragment pierced through my ear. Birdie, I'll bring you up on the show here. Whoops. Oh, Birdie only has 80 followers. Birdie, we're going to follow you. You have 81 followers. So to answer your question, I'm not sure about that. I'm going to bring Grace up. Grace will be coming up from the planet Earth onto the ship. And this is the ship for sure. We now have 3 people on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Chezno's on the ship. He has
Yep.
another ship behind him in the air. And
Yep.
we have Grace on the ship. Grace, welcome to the ship here on Encounters. And we're all in Connecticut, which is the beautiful thing. All 3 of us are in Connecticut.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're
Hey,
doing good. How
Grace.
you doing?
Doing very well. I'm making chia pudding.
Oh, good. Chia. Oh, I thought you had a. Did you say chia pudding?
Yeah.
What
Is
is
that
that?
like a chia pet pudding?
You've never
Like chia?
Ah. Yeah, no, chia seeds are a really
You know
great
I'm kidding.
source of protein, fiber, and it makes a really good pudding. I make it
Oh,
with
good.
coconut milk.
Yeah, I
That
thought
sounds
when you
good.
said chia, I was thinking, and I was kind of kidding, chia, chia, or whatever they say that. That's really funny.
Some
But
people hate it, some people love it, but
yeah,
I love it. You got to do it, make it overnight. It's like an overnight thing. So I usually do it like right before I go to bed or something,
yeah,
which won't be a
no,
while. Will be a while from now, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure it will be. Well, it's a great night. We have a Christmas tree up here in the other corner. Uh,
Good.
and in a few weeks, we'll have the room switched over. This is going to be the art meditation room, the room that I'm in here now. The bigger room is going to be a living room, and it's going to be the energy here is going to be crazy when we get all the crystals in here. So everything has to be set a certain way, with in terms of the energy frequencies with the crystals. So we're going to have to be everything's going to be set up in a certain way that I'm going to have to guide people. We have some help, some friends that are going to help move things. But anyway, it's just things as we've been talking about tonight. Like I said earlier, there was a little bit of contact coming through TikTok. And I think, like I said, I believe Godico can speak with us at any time. Like I said, Godico and the people on his ship are not invasive about, coming through. They want to be respectful. But I will invite him on here. I keep thinking, why not just invite him instead of talking about him? So Godico, if you wish to come up here. If you wish to talk in your language and speak, please do. I'll put the experimental invitation out to you. So I'm putting an invitation out, which I did verbally. So I gave Godico an invitation to speak, and he's welcome to come here anytime I'm on here, whenever he wishes to. And he is invited to speak. I don't know that he will come on here. All I did is put the invitation out, which is what we do because we have a relationship with their people, and he can come on anytime he wants. And let's see here. I think we have somebody else who wants to join us.
Well, I will say while that person is joining, I will say that last night's show was extraordinary.
Yeah, it was.
It was extraordinary.
I,
Extraordinary.
I, and I hope that John Connors is resting because that took a lot of energy out of him, I think.
Yeah, I think that he needs to take a chill pill for a
Yeah,
few
I
days.
left. I didn't even call him today. I left him alone to see just to make sure he's resting. So I
Beautiful.
think he really needed to rest. And yeah,
I mean, Commander, you know that me, number one, I tend to lean on the side of caution.
yeah,
And I am also a skeptic and I'm also a believer at the same time. So the three things going on. But I do. Last night was extraordinary.
oh,
I
it
was
was.
really moved by what happened. I was. I'm going to be honest with you. It was unbelievable and
Yeah,
believable at the same time.
yeah. And human economy. Welcome to Encounters. I'm CmdrAleon, the host of the show. Chezno is my co-host, and my spiritual cosmic advisor is Grace. Welcome to our show.
Hello, guys. Thank you for inviting me. And it's great to hear open-minded people who really open to exploring the universe. For me, my spiritual journey started with a book called Alatra. And in that book, I found out about 12,000 year cycle. So, Atlantis has been destroyed 12,000 years ago. And right now, our civilization, with all the peak of natural disasters, is approaching its 12,000 year cycle. And it's kind of like a test for humanity. We either gonna unify and build society with no dictatorship, or if we're gonna keep on separated, we're just gonna perish in another great flood, kind of like Atlantis did 12,000 years ago. With the only exception, we destroyed our ocean, which is supposed to cool down our planet, which is heating up from the inside right now. If you
Mm-hmm.
ever heard about global warming, they say, oh, glaciers melted because of farting cows and CO2 emissions. That is not true. Glaciers melting from the bottom, from the underneath because of underwater volcanic eruptions. And those are happening because the planet is heating up from the inside. And right now, in many places of our Earth, those volcanic eruptions are being slowed down by, again, aliens. We're getting help from our Anunnaki friends uh, who are observing us, but they do not have right to interfere with our freedom of choice. So they looking at us, they trying to warn us, but again, they cannot interact with human freedom of choice. It has to be up to us to decide whether we're going to be humans or we're going to continue living like animals and will self-destruct in the cycle of cataclysms. And
Right.
again, the
But
book,
the other thing to know, human economy, and I appreciate your perspective, is that although that is a possibility, I mean, obviously we've messed up the planet for billions of years, even before we've had the current ability to mess it up now, be it the Roman Empire or any other civilizations, we've had ebb and flow, meaning the planet Earth has had points when it lived in harmony with the universe and times when it just disconnected and went in such a low vibration that there were wars, conflicts before there were even missiles and so forth. We learned about history. There were even galactic wars on Earth before any of us existed in this current time frame. So there's a lot of history, billions of years of history that we don't even know about. We talk about thousands of years of history. Just imagine how much we don't know about our own planet. We really don't know a whole lot, except those of us that are waking up know that we have the Agartha network, we have the Hollow Earth, where the people that are very spiritually advanced lived within the Earth. They live within the Earth. And then we have our space brothers and sisters. The Anunnaki is one group, but there are many galactic groups of light that have been here to observe and also to assist the Earth in our Earth history currently. We have intervention
Mhm.
over the decades when I was a kid of the space people shutting down nuclear silo plants, which they've done, or else this planet would not even be here. So we have to give thanks to the fact that what there were points when they had to intervene and shut down nuclear facilities at Air Force bases
Mhm.
or whatever, nuclear silos. So that history I'm very familiar with because I work with the Ashtar Command, and they're the ones who, with Russia, the United States, they shut down all the electronics. Now we're coming into a situation where There's non-intervention versus universal understanding that they cannot intervene. But at the same token, we're coming into a period where contact is now going to happen. And that means it's not directly a forced intervention, it's divine timing. So in the timing, yes, they cannot interfere. But at the same token, this is not interference now because now they're supposed to be coming here. Now they're supposed to be making contact with individuals. And the stories that I told about my contact with this, people from the constellation Sirius, many people are going to start have individual contact, and it's a beautiful thing. So we've gone from non-interference or universal law of not being able to do anything but observe to now it's time for the galactic levels that work in peace and harmony, where they are now going to be able to come here. That's why the DoD, that's why all these agencies that are involved in the subject are going crazy, because they don't know what to do now. They can't stop what's going to happen. They have no right to stop it. They might try to stop it, but they can't stop people from having contact anymore.
Absolutely, and contact is already happening. The thing is,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
happening in the form that most people expect. Like, most people
right,
from Hollywood movies, they think there is going to be a huge spaceship that's going to float over New York and people are
right,
going to be waving hands. Yeah, they
right,
contact us in the way we wouldn't expect, like,
right.
using social media. There was this amazing woman going by the name Жанна, and she had an account, TikTok account, going by the name Alien Soul 28, and she got
Hmm,
banned at 2.5 millions, and she was blinking with this lizard eyes, like
hmm,
like they say, shapeshifters. And she was doing it on YouTube with like 4K videos. It was tested. They
hmm.
say it's absolutely legit. It was
Yeah,
tested by all possible Hollywood experts and so on. But the truth that she has been revealing was really eye-opening. About the ninth circle of Satan, meaning the Hollywood
hmm.
stars who are drinking children's blood to get high. It was about Vatican connection with the gray aliens who are
Yeah.
gray ones are evil ones. They also call them Apexians. They are not good friends to us. They used to consume us 24,000 years ago as simply as a food supply for them. And
Yeah,
up
I
until
try.
this
I
day,
try to. I try to stay away from that. What we speak about is energy in our words. So, although that probably is real information,
hmm
not that we shouldn't talk about it, but rather we would not want to talk about it because that promotes that energy from that frequency. Everything is frequency.
absolutely,
So
yeah. Let's
I
not
must
even
say
pay attention to that. Yeah.
let's stay away from that frequency and continue on the frequency of the vibrational frequencies of light, which is a whole much better frequency to talk about. And if that person had that happening or that experience, people that need to be in that frequency will be there. But we don't need to. It's not in our frequency. It's
Yeah.
not in my consciousness. It's not in your consciousness. It's
Speaking of
information.
frequency,
It's
Speaking of
frequency. So
frequency, yeah, there's a very interesting thing about pyramids. They have been built by multiple civilizations on our planet and left as an evidence of evident importance of these structures. With recent discoveries along the planet, we know there are pyramids that are 24,000 years old, and
mm,
apparently these pyramids were helping people to raise frequencies on the planet and to protect ourselves from external cosmic impact, which at the moment influencing our planet. And you have seen red auroras borealis or northern lights this
right,
year in a
right.
very abnormal places, which speaks about weakening of the magnetic field and our
Yeah,
shield, right, as a planet. So
interesting.
that's
Interesting.
not a good sign. But those pyramids, if they would be activated by, spiritually developed civilization, that would be perfect protection for us. And this
Yeah.
is the knowledge I picked up in this book called Alatra. Again, guys, I'm not promoting here anything. I'm just
Right.
sharing my own
Right. It's a
experience.
book you've read that you
This,
love, that you
yeah,
like reading. Yeah.
about
It,
love, about meditating, about actually developing the love inside of you. Because, this is the most important thing you said. If you are surrounded by love, if you live on vibrations of love, there is
yeah.
nothing bad that can happen to you. Yeah.
That's the key thing. If you live on just what you just said, if everybody lives on the vibration of love, that's the key. What Gia was saying in comments, but we can't ignore the truth, even if it's hard to hear. But the truth is based on someone. This is why I don't deal a lot with other people's YouTube information or internet websites. The command has had me rightly so, not going on websites reading other people's productions or information or whatever for one very specific reason. And I'm very strong about teaching this here, because when you start reading other people's writings or videos or things they produce, there is an ounce of possible information that could be based on their own experience or based on what they experience, positive or negative or whatever. But that doesn't mean it's the other person's experience or many other people's experiences. So I've been very disciplined in coming to Earth, not to look at anything other than my information I get from the cosmic realm. Because by doing that, the information I give you is not going to be from so and so's website that said this is what happened 20,000 years ago. And then I have to, as being a news person that had been trained in college and studying news and broadcasting, how to investigate things. My mind and on a human level is, you know, where do you get your information from? Where is that human being producing that show about this thing or that thing? I'll ask tons of questions. I'll say, well, I'll say, well, this is it. I mean, well, this is it. What? I mean, where did you get the information from? Where's it coming from? If a person cannot give you, regardless of whether on the History Channel or YouTube or whatever, can tell you where they're getting their information from, just presenting information, unless the information can be, verified to be true, it's just someone's information based on either a fear-based frequency or something. So we don't know a lot about our planet, but I do know in my teachings within Christ consciousness, because I operate in that frequency, I will never operate or go into information. A lot of times I'll see things on YouTube. I like to see if there's any real information or other places, just for facts of information. Mostly I want to know if I'll know in a nanosecond whether that information is accurate or not. So I spend
Yeah.
most of my time in my teaching saying, don't depend on things you see on TV. I don't care if it's on History, Discovery, whatever. What's the most important thing? If someone comes on and says, I just had a contact with a space being from the planet Zozu, and they're talking about a direct experience, yes. Tell me a direct experience. If someone produces a great program on YouTube or they produce all this stuff, whether it be positive or negative, I want to know the source of the information. That comes from my news background. I want you to tell me the source of not you personally, but you know what I mean. I want people to tell me the source of the information. And 9 out of 10 times, there is no source. It's just another person that they got it from. The other person goes on with it, and then another person goes on with it. And you don't know if it's true or not. It's because it's somebody's perception of reality, and that is their perception of reality, where your perception of reality is in another time frame, another timeline. See, so it's a great discussion because and I'm glad you brought it up, because the person that mentioned Gaia was mentioning that we don't ignore the truth, but we don't know if it is the truth. It's someone else's perception and creative liberty of creating something, and we don't know where it came from or where's the source of the information. I don't want to ponder on that with her, but we need to know, you know, we can't just say, oh yeah, that's the truth. We have to question everything. That's how we become enlightened. If we don't question everything and just say, oh yeah, you're telling the truth. How you know you're telling the truth? Where is that truth? No, we don't know it's the truth. We just know it's someone's production on YouTube. And where's the information coming from? We don't know that
Yeah,
it's true or not.
absolutely. So many people who are looking for truth coming across, ridiculous conspiracy theories like flat Earth and so on, and they just being distracted. So I
Right.
think the only way is to verify everything and have group of people to double and triple check everything. And what you said about
Oh yeah.
vibration, like the purpose of
Yeah.
our planet is to create high vibration, right? Create
Right.
angels, create people who are living for love. But
So I just want to say, Gia said, well, I said it's probably the truth. So I have to go back to what I said. What I'm trying to say is that it's possibly true. Yes, it's possibly true, but we still need to have the source of the information. You see, that's the thing I'm getting at. So yeah, anything can be possibly true, but from my analytical news background, which I studied with Pacifica Radio in the news department back in the
mm,
70s, I was taught one very important thing. This goes for everybody. Whatever the subject is, it doesn't matter. You need to question everything out there. Everything you see, everything on the internet that's on websites. People produce these websites. Human beings produce them. Human beings produce things
yeah,
on YouTube,
I
on
have one
Discovery Channel.
question then.
Yeah.
You know, like 10 years ago, if magnitude 5 earthquake would happen somewhere, all TV stations would say, hey, magnitude 5 earthquake happened in Chile. That's really, like,
Right.
crazy. Today,
Right.
there are 10 to 15 magnitude 5 to magnitude 6 and even 7 earthquakes happening
Right.
every single day. And
Yeah.
no one talks about it at all.
They don't.
This is
A lot of
crazy.
earth changes. A lot of earth changes happening. And as you know, I looked at the information of the earthquake weather. What they call earthquake weather. There are earthquakes constantly happening all over the world. So we've heard. So recently there were some bigger ones that were on the news, but they don't really focus on what happens with those. So it's really important. The news on this planet is very limited, which is the way it is. They don't talk about the galactic things. They don't talk about, when they had those so-called balloons from China they were shooting down. Does everybody remember that? And then some people, matter of fact, some of those so-called balloons in the Yukon Territory in Canada were actually unmanned spaceships from a larger ship. I talked about it. This was, excuse me, months ago. And, we had Air Force jets going into Canada intercepting unmanned UFOs, or what I call spaceships that are unmanned. These are smaller craft. They were being chased. They were actually coming from larger ships out of the outer atmosphere. I'm trying to get the words out. So, there's a lot of stuff people aren't being told the truth here on the planet. We're not being told the truth. The one thing I will tell people is, whenever I do this show, whenever I do my radio show on Pacific Radio, it's always about cosmic truth. No, I get no information from websites ever. Although the only thing I like to read is if there's any UFO sightings, I like to read those reports on my radio show, which I do, or on here once in a while. But more importantly, on here, you get to share your experiences about your visitation. We've had people who've been abducted with true stories. We have people that have contactee experiences with beautiful beings that are plasma beings, light beings, other beings from other planets. Okay, and we've had those experiences. And I'm glad you found our show here, because you're going to see there's a lot of different people having things happen here that are just a beautiful thing. In some cases, might not be as beautiful as the other person's experience, but it's real. And that's the beautiful part about it. Is I love the fact that everything we do here is real. Everything we talk about here is real. Friends of Free says, the commander helped me come out and become more open and talk about my own experiences. Thank you, Friends with Furries. And that's what I do. I pull people out of their shell and say, come on up here, share your experiences, because I'm a contactee. So I can relate to people being, whether you've been abducted. I've never been abducted, but I can relate to it from a contactee standpoint. Even though I'm not an abductee, I can understand and want people to share their stories to help you with what you went through, so other people can hear your story. You're not alone anymore. I don't want anyone to feel alone. That's why I think it's really important now that things are happening. We have to come together. I would suggest that people don't depend on websites for your information, because they're produced and by human beings, and some of them have very creative minds, and maybe some of their information might be really helpful and maybe not. You got to go within. I want people always to go within. The biggest book you have is right inside of you, that higher self. If people go in the higher self and meditate, you will learn so much stuff about yourself and about the universe. And it might take weeks and weeks or years. It might take a nanosecond, depending who you are. But if you go within, you will find the truth. You're not going to find it out there on a TV show or on the website out there. You're going to find it within yourself. My journey, I've always been disciplined. When I started with the internet, I would look at different things, yes, just like anybody else. But as time goes on, I did less and less of that, because I found out that there were people's agendas, people's fears. Everything is projected in words. Everything. Every word has power. Even when you speak, even when I speak, every word we speak as individuals has power. So being on Earth on mission, we have to choose our words wisely. We have to choose how we interact with people wisely. When Getico, my space friend from the constellation Sirius, communicates, he has a sense of humor. I'm starting to believe that on their planet, they also are very lighthearted, but they also can be very serious, because they're not just flying around in a spaceship saying, oh, let's have some fun here and hang around the Earth for a while. They're on a mission, and the next time we talk to Gadako, I'm going to say, what is your mission? What has been your mission, your interplanetary mission? I think that's an important question. And I will ask him that, if Gadako came on tonight and started speaking, I would ask him, what is your interplanetary mission? I haven't asked that question of Gadako, but I'd love to know what their interplanetary mission is, right?
So,
I think that's it.
Commander, can I add to that too?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that you, the guest that was in, I didn't see his name. Oh, Human Economy. Hi.
Yeah, Connie, yeah.
Yeah, so, you mentioned earlier about the earthquakes that are going on in the earth. I mean, the thing is that, you don't have to be programmed in order to be connected. There are ways where you can educate yourself and find out what's going on in the world, as far as, for example, if you want to know what seismic activity is going on the planet, there are apps you can look at that will, and platforms that you can go to find out what's going on in the world. You don't have to remain blind, and blind to the information is there. It's just, when I was living in Florida, I went through the last Hurricane Ian. It was radical. We had 18 tornadoes come through Naples. And my girlfriend, a friend of mine, actually a very dear friend of mine, showed me how to use the weather maps across the board so I could see everything that was going on. All of the wind activity, all of the tornado activity, all of the elevational, everything was set up for you in this, I forget what it is. I think it was NOS, the National Association of Aero something. I forget what the letters mean. But anyway, the information is available to everyone. You don't have to remain ignorant to what's going on in the world. You can look at, NOAA. Thank you, Fire Opal. You can go to look for Northern Lights. There are apps that will show you the human resonance. That you can look at the solar sun, flares. So we can educate ourselves. We don't have to remain like ostriches with our heads in the sand. And we can
Absolutely.
do this without being programmed.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good. And it's we're human economy. All of us, we're on the same resonance of frequency, so we understand that. Now, and that's where there's billions of people in the earth that are not there yet in terms of where all of us here live are, and many of the people watching this are, but they'll get there. They're not there yet, but that's why we're here, right? We're here to help people, and we're here to share light. We're here to be focused on being light workers. When I say the word light worker, what does that mean to people? That word should mean that we are here to spread light, vibrational frequencies, and patterns of light with others, in essence, to try to help those people. It's always been the journey. Before you can help other people, you need to wake up and be able to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how are you going to help your neighbor? How are you going to help the person in the Middle East, or the person in Africa, or the person in some other island somewhere in the Pacific? How are you going to help the person in an inner city area, or in a suburban area, wherever it is on the planet? It makes no difference, or in Tibet or wherever. How are you going to help that person? So how we help each other is when we wake up to our divine self, that self which is not just a human 3D mind. When we understand the cosmic realities of consciousness, we are able then to help other people. We're able to just go out there and do it, right? We're able to get out there and say, wow, I'm going to help somebody else. Now I know who I am. I can help somebody else. I can help that brother or sister out there on the street. I can help that person. I can help, spread peace and love and understanding, because now I know divinely and cosmically who I am, what my purpose is. But until you know what your purpose is, you might be working in a circle saying, where's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? Who am I?
I love that
And
you
in
said
essence,
that.
yeah.
In meditation, if you do it enough and practice it enough, these downloads will start coming to you, and you'll
Mm,
remember who you are and like what your mission is, like
yeah.
100%.
And Sir Tug says, yep, God, great love, and humans create. God, great love, and humans create. That's evil and will need. And we need to be kind of us. Hmm. So we need to really understand something. When we talk, and I've talked about this before on the Encounter show, this is Encounter's late night spiritual UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. My co-host is Chezno. My spiritual cosmic counselor is Grace. And we have Human Economy, who's joining us. Human Economy, what part of the planet are you on? You in the United States? Where are you located?
So originally I'm from Ukraine, but I live in Michigan right now in
Oh, welcome.
Detroit.
Yeah, good to have you with
Thank you.
us, man.
Where are you guys
Yep.
from?
We're all in Connecticut.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
Yeah,
Super cool,
yeah,
guys. And what you're talking about, like helping other people, is super relevant because,
yeah.
especially being in the US, enjoying freedom of speech is kind of an amazing thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think we should, as humanity, evolve to a point where we create conditions for people to live with no fear. I think that's
Hmm.
the most important thing,
Hmm.
because today most people, even my friends who work in Silicon Valley, got very good jobs. They constantly live in fear. What if I'm gonna lose a job? What if I'm not gonna be
Hmm.
able to pay bills? What if like my partner is gonna leave me? What if economy is gonna collapse? My stock
Right.
market is gonna go
That's right.
down. Bitcoin is gonna collapse. Like people live in constant fear of uncertainty of tomorrow. So what I'm thinking, and part of that is the political system in which we have to decide between two politicians, like whoever gives them, we picking up somebody to rule us. And really, with today's technologies, we could build a self-governing society where we use some kind of online platform to really self-govern and decide and pass laws only which are beneficial to all people. So we can put human life first, above money, above profit, above political party, and only
Mhm.
pass laws which increase quality of human life. Today, this is possible. This concept is called creative society. I know some people in the comment section already said they're familiar with it, so that's kind of amazing. But this is where it has to be a unified demand from people, because politicians, they're not gonna themselves like change the system. So
Right.
if it would be like kind of like Occupy Wall Street, but in peaceful manner, and it has to be like online or on social media, if all of us would demand that we want universal basic income, we want healthcare,
Well, you
education to be
know,
basic human rights,
you
and
know,
just to create condition
yeah.
for people to live with no fear, for us to
Well, in
actually
truth,
enjoy life.
yeah. And I'm going to invite Dunyadar in a moment here. One of the things that working from being from Mars, which is where I come from, the planet Mars, which has 10 to 15 million inhabitants, which, of course, I've said before, the governments will not acknowledge those that are involved in space exploration and understanding. That they don't tell you the truth about the other planets in our solar system. They want you to think all the planets are dead planets, and that there might have been once life on these planets. It's the biggest lie of 70 years. And what you're saying is, beyond that point, is that on other planetary worlds, there is governance of some sort, but it's not like on Earth. On Earth, everything's governance about people having certain things and structures of a government. Um, but here's the galactic news that people need to understand, which I'll share. What we see now as worldwide so-called governments in different countries on Earth, they are eventually going to fall apart. Why? There's going to be a time and point when all these so-called religions on Earth, all the political parties on Earth are going to fall apart. And they have to. And the reason they have to, because it wasn't meant to be that way. The organic state of the way the planet Earth was supposed to be was it was to be elevated into a galactic conscious level with other planetary systems that don't work. There are other planets do have what you call how should I put it? There are governmental structures on other planets, but not like on Earth. On Earth, everything is based on power, money, and Those are the two main ingredients of what Earth-based governments are made of. And of
And
course,
everything
people that
happens
know.
in cycles, usually
Right,
from the Greeks to the Romans. Everything collapses. The United States will collapse too, and so will Russia, and so will China. It's just
right,
inevitable. It's part of growth, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you have to change things to level up as a country or a world.
right. And we are actually on a planet called Earth. So, but we're used to being in what we call separated countries on this planet. But on other planets, there's no separated countries. They live as a planet, as a planetary system. The space people from different planets will say they're this or they're that. This is their name. This is their planet. On Earth, we don't say we're Earthians. We say we are Americans or Russians or Chinese. No, we are actually Earthians. We might be from many different cultures on the Earth, but we are really Earthians. And if we completely understand with the new Earth that we are Earthians, then it doesn't matter whether you call yourself an American. It doesn't mean anything, So don't get offended if I say, who cares if you're an American or a Russian or whatever? You are an Earthian. Go beyond your country, beyond what you call a separated name for yourself. On other planets, the space people, they don't live by that. Only on Earth in the 3D world have we created all these divisions, right? Why? Why should we be divided? We don't need monetary systems. The monetary systems were created to create separation and power. On other planets, they don't use money. There's no money. People, everything exists in universal understanding. The galactic energies, everything is free. On this planet, we are so trained into the current history of our planet Earth that we believe this is the way it's always been and this is the way it's always going to be, but we can make it better. There's no way of improving something that should never have been in the first place. Even since the Roman Empire, same thing. Power, control, everything on this planet. So we're going into a beautiful energy now where things will change. And people need to get ready now to forget about how to improve the broken structures on this planet and start getting ready to go within and connect with your space brothers and sisters that you're connected with. Meditate, connect. That's really one of my key things now is since I've had this contact, it's I've gone beyond trying to make the planet a better place for systems to still be here. I want to see everything busted. I'm here to bust the matrix, and that means busting every single thing, religion, politics. I don't care what your beliefs are. I will bust them open and get you to start thinking on a cosmic scale. You need to see cosmically, not about how to improve things that are broken. There's no improving a broken planet of systems that were created by people with power. We need to look at the cosmic beauty of the universe and learn from our space family that this is not the way they live. And this is not the way we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to put band-aids on something and say, my band-aid's a little bit better, so we'll make it much nicer inside the halls of this building, and there'll be better people here. We're not here to up the structures. We're here to let them organically fall apart, right? They need to organically fall apart. So I want to welcome, after saying all that on Encounters, I think it's Dun Yadar. Welcome.
Damien, it's easy. How you guys doing? Tali, how are you?
We're doing good.
Yeah,
We're doing good. I'm a little bit on a roll here, so
It's so nice to see you guys here. Like we follow each other last time when I was at your stream. So
yeah.
from then I've been watching you. Yes, those things you guys all saying, it's all beautiful. But at this moment, as I understand, as I did my own researches, my own knowledge, I end up find out the creative society that talk about last time is talking facts. So vibrations, good thing, all the good things you guys talking about, it's so beautiful. But we have to, like, as you guys understand, as you guys actually saying also, we all have to get united because so
Right.
many things are separating us, religions, politics, money, and all that. Whatever what you just said, bro, it's all up there. It's I'm literally here, person. Like I know you know a little bit about creative society. You told me last time, but whatever you say right now, it's just it matches. It matches a lot. No money, no politicians, no countries, all Earthians. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it's just it would be so nice if you guys really look into it. It's not much I can say besides just this. Yeah, you guys really need to look into this.
And
Couple.
here's what people really need to look into. Not any grouping of people.
Mhm,
This is why, because I've had contact over a month ago with a space being,
mhm.
that's changed my whole what I thought I understood, and I understand quite a bit galactically. What people need to focus on is not any one group that's doing something. They need to focus again within themselves, because that's going people and there's a lot of beautiful things people individually and as a grouping of people are doing for the earth as light workers and so forth. But I'm really at the point now with Godico, my brother from the star system in Sirius, the constellation, who communicated through music in one of the apps in my daughter's room. I have changed to the point now where I need people to look within themselves and also understand that eventually there is a star system, a galactic grouping of beings that each person is connected with. And I'm very, very sure Godico, I feel that he's here all the time now in a way, that he's listening to everything I'm saying. And I'm
Absolutely,
sure he would
I
agree.
agree with you, but you guys have to agree also. We will never be connect to anyone if we want. It's again, you're saying the beautiful things. Obviously, each of us has to start from his own self, from his own,
Right, his own self.
by
But how do you
working
do
on the
that, right? Your own
yes,
self is
and
yourself.
then we
Like
can.
yourself, are you connecting with your own self or are you connecting outside of yourself?
I'm working on myself. Let's say it this way. I do working on myself. I do educating. I do looking at things, not the fake things, the things that actually sound like they are important for humankind.
Hmm.
Which is, yeah, from my own experience, I've been looking into this. I've been watching you guys at the streams without even getting to
Right,
it, without even you guys didn't even know me, but I was in the lobby, was watching you, listening
right,
to you
of
guys.
course.
And yeah, from my own experience, I ended up with this again, Creative
Right.
Society, and those last two conferences they have, believe it or not, guys, especially the last one, it called Global Crisis Responsibility. If you look into this, they literally they was gonna make a conference about 12 hours, but in the middle of the conference, around 7 hours, they all start crying. Adults start crying. It was a live stream on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Tens of hundreds of the thousands been watching the stream, maybe millions. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure millions watched it. And I believe it or not, I'm a human being, okay? I have a kids, I have family and everything.
Oh, we
And
are. We're
obviously,
all human.
I've
But
been, believe it or not,
what I'm trying to say
I've
here,
been literally
you know,
crying with them at that
yeah,
moment. It was so it touched me so much because whatever they say, I also check them. So, to see if
right,
they're not
right.
bullshitters, let's put it this way.
I have something
No,
to
it's a
add.
great family.
I have
Grace,
something.
what are you gonna say?
Have you? I just want to just put this out there. Have you guys watched by chance The Lost Century, the documentary?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Okay. So The Lost Century actually is hosted and by Dr. Stephen Greer.
Mm,
And you guys, if you want to be inspired, this is now this group that you're discussing. You're talking about this conference that was I forget the title of the group.
It's a
Hum,
creative society in a conference called Global Crisis Responsibility.
Creative Society.
yeah,
Creative
I've heard of
society.
them. I know what they are.
Yeah,
Um,
we talked about this last time. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so anyway, The Lost Century discussed a very similar. Basically, what it does is it educates people that greed and we as human beings, we invent something, and we bring it, we don't want to bring it to the world because what we want to do, and this has been repeated over the last 100 years, we want to save the invention, we don't want to share it because we feel we're going to make $1 million from it, we're going to make millions, right? So we become like the character in The Lord of the Rings, my precious. And we become like that. We don't want to share, say, 0.0 energy concepts because we feel that we are going to, covenant it in some way. So what Lost Century discusses is it touches on those facts. And so there are others besides, I think that, not to negate what you're saying, Dunsar, I think Junior, how do you pronounce your handle?
Damien. If you guys say Damien, it's much easier.
Damien. Okay. That's great. So what they talk about is, they go on to talk about 0 point energy, what happened with Tesla, the black market, man-made extensions, Exxon, Chernobyl, it goes on and on and on. Extremely informative. I highly recommend it. But what's happened with this documentary is the funding. So when getting back to
I watched it.
Getting back to my point about Precious,
Mm-hmm.
there are many, many, many inventors today that are creating cars that run on water, right? Cars that, don't need fuel, cars that don't need electric. They can run without, 0 point energy. And what happens is they get snuffed out by big corporations,
Right. That's right.
or they get wiped out.
So true.
Things get taken from them. So the principle here, or the point that Dr. Greer made on this documentary, was that they need to go out into the world and get their inventions out to the people and come clean with it on platforms, and then get funding outside of the government or outside of these corporations that have been funding inventors and stealing things, like what basically it's history repeating itself, like what happened with Tesla.
That's right.
And so they go on to talk about it, and it actually, I was floored after I listened to this, and come to find out. Okay, so Dr. Greer had this funded by a gentleman who had the book franchise Chicken Soup for the Soul, and they refused to pay the proceeds that are coming in, and now Dr. Greer's in court with them, trying to get his funding to promote these inventors. And this was the backlash. This is sort of what happens with, I feel like there's this polarity, that this constant tug of war, dark, light, whatever you want to call it. And this is what I feel like the light workers, what we need to do is as a collective, is to put our intention, right? We can bend metal with our intention, right?
Right.
Uri Geller. I talk about Uri Geller a lot.
Oh yeah, Yuri. God, I remember him.
Yep, he's a long time, right? Was in the U.S. government. He did programs with them on remote viewing, and he was known for spoon bending, metal manipulation. So
he did it.
if we can bend metal with our intentions, imagine what we can do with our intentions. So for me, it's important that gets settled, because this man is being pressed down into, like he's between the vice grips, so to speak.
Right.
Yes. And we need to talk about this more. Collective. So this is, we're all on the same page,
Right.
I wish I would have had the opportunity to listen to this conference. I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of touched on this society. I think what I get frightened by is there's never really a 100% foolproof, Band-Aid action that, everyone has the answers, but at this point we need something. We need something.
Right. the
Because
thing,
we're heading towards extinction if we don't do something.
Oh my
right?
God, Grace,
So
I'm so agree with you. May I
yeah,
just step in for a second? First of all,
yeah,
I agree with all the speakers. I think you just added towards each other very valid points here. And even when Grace started speaking about technologies,
right,
we know that there are fuel-free generators today. They have been existing since Nikola Tesla times, but they've never been implemented because it was much more profitable to, put the wires instead of wireless transmission of energy and get money for it because it's also very convenient for political influence. Whenever people want too much freedom, you just raise a price for electricity and people forget about their freedom demands. They're just trying to pay the bills. But today there are too many of such inventions. Actually, at that conference, which Dunyar was mentioning, Global Crisis, the Responsibility, I was also watching it. They presented how many inventions today there are that can produce free energy, and they
yeah,
can be publicly available. But the problem is, in today's consumerist society, it would collapse. For example, oil production industry. So millions of people will stay without a job. That means millions of people in transportation of that energy, of oil and gasoline, will also stay without a job. That means a lady at the gas station somewhere in Nebraska, Lincoln, will also stay without a job. They're going to stop consuming the food produced by other people, and that's going to collapse the whole industry. So the
but this is
change has to be
this is
systemic.
the thing.
The
This
change
is
has to be systemic, and
right,
with all because also I wanted to comment on what the host said earlier. You said that we need unified civilization like all developed civilization in the universe. That is very important because imagine if all technological progress and
right.
the smartest people were developing not the weapons to destroy each other like they
That's
do
right,
right now, the smartest people working on weapons, but if they develop technologies to improve quality of human life. But
right,
that is only possible if we unify as humanity. Like, if we change something by implementing self-governance, I don't see a change happening unless people request vocally self-governance society and put
right,
human life above profit. And that is
right.
very
And the
simple. What
and the other thing I'm going to say here, I'm just as you're watching Encounters, just to let people know you're watching the late night UFO spiritual talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. We're here most nights. Once in a while, the commander takes a break. But we have my co-host Chezno. We have our spiritual cosmic guidance counselor Grace. We have human economy here, Dundar here, and one of the things that I will say, and I agree with what you're saying, Grace, about putting a band-aid on things. There's not one specific group that has all the answers on Earth. No matter what that Earth-based group is, there might be beautiful things and things that are true, even though I didn't watch a broadcast. Um, the free energy and all the things like Stephen Greer has been working really hard, as you said. He's doing some fantastic work. I interviewed him back in the early 90s in New Hampshire on a TV program I was doing at the time. And that was when he was just starting out, with his programs about disclosure. And he was just a beautiful spirit. And I just think people need to think beyond Earth-based belief systems of reality. Of if we're gonna, this is what I said earlier, on other planets, they don't have the system we have. They don't live like this. They don't live on a monetary system. And you know what? Like I said, I'm here to bust the matrix.
You know,
So, if
we
people don't have
totally
jobs at gas stations or the system starts falling apart, we start saying, everything we're living, all the things we know how to do, all the money we had, everything is falling apart. Well, maybe it needs to organically fall apart, is what I'm trying to tell you. On this planet, maybe the things need to fall apart, and it's not based on, oh no, everything's falling apart. What am I going to do? Where am I going to hide? Don't think of it in terms of being in fear of things falling apart. Let the whole artificial structure of our planet is based on things that weren't supposed to be this way. We weren't supposed to be in a monetary system or have buildings where people are controlling what we do or people creating bills to tell us what we're to do. If we lived on planet Mars right now, there is no monetary system on Mars. People do not live like this. They have advanced systems of transportation on the planet. They live in harmony with the Creator. On this planet, we live in such a disarray of disharmony, it's unbelievable. It's amazing on this planet, being in human form, watching what people do on Earth. The things that we say, well, we're going to make it better. We'll do it this way. this group is going to have a better way. There might be good things people have in different places all over the world that they're trying to make things better. And I think that's wonderful. I think it's beautiful. But the ultimate thing is we're not to try to up the structure. We're here to organically let it fall apart so that we can actually have a new Earth. We can't have a new Earth if we're going to perpetuate the same structures on planet Earth that we perpetuated since the Roman Empire. It's not going to change. If we really believe in changing the planet, we need to shed the light that is breaking the whole system down organically. And
Right.
that is what we have to do. Not
One
create another
way,
system. We have to
yeah.
get rid of these systems.
One way as a collective, I think we can stop it is as simple as stop watching the news. Because quantum
Yeah.
mechanics proves that, you know, when you observe something, it changes, you
Uh-huh.
know, from a wave to a particle. When you observe the news, like you are a creator of your own world.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're creating fear and war, you're creating it in your mind
Right.
rather than if you're thinking about positive stuff. You create heaven or hell. Like it happens like right here. So if you
Right.
live in fear and war, you're going to create it. And if you
Mm-hmm.
stop watching the news and get negativity out of your life, it doesn't exist.
Mm.
People
Absolutely.
that's what they don't tell you
No,
in the
Right.
Bible.
I agree with
That's
And
why they fear us, how powerful like we
That's
you
are.
know,
right.
you,
systems
but we
should
have to
collapse,
agree on one.
especially political and religious, because that's what the host said. It I agree 100%. That the problem is not that they only exist, but that they learn people to shift responsibility to somebody else. When it takes for decisions in society, people don't take responsibility for themselves. They say, okay, we pick one politician, let them decide for us. So it's shifting responsibility. And
Or
what
they shift
religions
to a
do,
God.
they
It's
shift responsibility as well. Religions say, give us a little bit of money and we're gonna take care of your spiritual life. So instead of developing as a spiritual being,
Yeah.
people shifting responsibility. That is not the way to do. So what is the right way to
Well,
do? To ask
The
people
right
what kind of
way, yeah, there are
yeah,
many
great.
things that human beings can do right now to make some shifts happen in their lives. So number one, you could educate yourself as to what items are in the grocery store, who are producing those items. Are they small businesses? Are they small business that are owned and operated by just regular folk? Or is it major companies like BlackRock, etc.? We have to understand what chemicals are in our products, what poisons we're putting down into our water systems. If we make small changes, we make big effects. We can educate ourselves on what's happening in the world and activity wise. We can maybe get to know our neighbors. We could actually plant our own vegetables, I mean, buy from small farmers. There are many, many, many things we can do to make change today, right at this moment.
It does. It does really helps, but it doesn't really affect forever. It does help a little bit. Let's say we sometimes throw down and send money to Africa to build some wells, but it doesn't resolve the issue in global
Culture has
wise.
to
What
be
I try to
able.
say is that we talk some serious stuff in here, guys. So the first of all, the host been talking about those other civilizations. We have to
yeah.
understand the other civilization. They didn't come to existence out of nowhere. Somehow the evolutionary become this way. And since so do we have a chance to do so. We don't
Right.
really, we don't really have to, Earth don't really have to die in order for us become a better civilization. That's what's again, creative society talks about. To fix that problem right way, I'll bring you an example. Let's say we are driving a car. We all six of us in the minivan. And we have this issue, okay? We're losing the water out of the radiator. We can keep pouring the water, and obviously that engine won't get cold, overheated. It will take us to the place, but the issue won't get fixed. What the real mechanic will do, he will replace that radiator. So that's what the creative society actually bring the things to us. Whatever the way we've been going for thousands of years, it's a fact. Those civilizations that we have before, Romans or Ottoman empires, all those empires, all the time. They're rising up. You guys been talking about this earlier too. And someday America will fall, China will fall, Russia will fall.
They're all
Yes.
going to fall. They have
But the
to.
thing is, it's been happening for thousands of years when we let few people to make decisions for us. When we let them when we pretty much let them do our responsibility their way, the way they want it. Like let them choose for us. We've been choosing them to let them choose for us. And obviously all this been creating the same thing. As we're seeing right now, so many technologies and all that. No, we all know these technologies came out in the last like 100 years. No, there is no way those technologies didn't exist before. They did.
Right.
We did had the civilization in Earth. You guys been talking about that too. They've been really, really technology advanced with technologies and a lot of other stuff we don't even probably have these days. So what I try to say is, again, guys, I had this experience. And I really, really want you to guys check this out because what you guys talking make a lot of sense and it's a very important. And it's the right way to when each of us to work on himself.
But you got to
But
work on yourself. If you don't work on
we
yourself, this
still
is. I want
in the
to. I
same
don't mean to
boat.
interrupt you. I
In
want
the
to interrupt
same
you for a
boat.
minute. I
Oh, go
want to
ahead.
interrupt you for a minute as host. I want to interrupt you for a minute as host. I want because I have another guest here. I want to let her speak. JMKER, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey guys, I just want to quickly mention, I'm so sorry
Go
to
ahead, Greg.
interrupt you. Um, guys, people are claiming that you guys are AI. I just want to say, I know you've been in the room before. I don't think we're dealing with AI here. So just want to let you know. I know Dimitri's been here before in human
Yeah,
economy. I think you've
yeah,
been here before too.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Why would she say so?
Yeah,
So
So I want,
I've been in here
AI
before
have
as
no
well.
accent.
So,
look,
AI doesn't have no
I want to
accent,
let
bro.
I want to let the woman speak for a moment. So I want to give everybody as host an equal chance to participate. Go ahead.
go ahead, go
well,
ahead.
that's really sweet. Thank you. And you guys can call me JM, to
Okay,
make it easier.
okay, okay.
Um, I just I had a couple questions I wanted to ask and stuff, just kind of based off of the things that I've learned myself and just the different things that I've encountered.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm always, trying to discover new things and new ways. I have different abilities, just different things.
Hmm.
I've seen things that, most people haven't. And like, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I was here
Yeah.
when the Phoenix lights happened and everything. And I
Ah,
got to see that. And that was a very, amazing and uplifting experience. It wasn't scary at all.
yeah.
Um, but my thing is like, I have picked up, a few books and they're from Bruce Lipton, um, Greg Braden
Yeah,
and,
I know the
Joe
name. Yeah.
Dispenza.
Hmm.
They're some of my favorite guys
Yeah.
working in this field. And one of the things that Greg says is that for all the problems that we have, and I don't know if it's this simple, but he said for all the problems that, we have going on, whether it be economic or it be spiritual or it be, environmental, whatever it is, that we already have the solutions for those things.
Right.
And it's just the point of people as a collective letting it be and letting it
Hmm.
come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, I mean, is it that easy though? Like, I mean, how do we get to that point?
Well, I'll say one thing first, and then I'll give everybody equal chance.
Yeah.
I'm really because I'm not from this planet. I
Mhm.
look at things from a different perception from the outside in. And
Mm-hmm.
when I look at this planet and working on being a contactee when I was a kid with space people, and then having contact with Gattaco just over less than, and Grace knows this, she heard it, and other people have been consistently watching this. When you have contact with somebody from another planet, Your perceptions of reality about how we're going to make this planet better are thrown out the window in many ways. We say, oh, we're going to make the planet better. We can do it this way. We can do it this way. We're essentially putting new Band-Aids that look better than the old Band-Aids, and that's fine. There's a lot of great creative ways for people to do things, but there's not one sole group. See, this is where I have my problems. It's not, individually, there are people that are beautiful souls that are doing good things, and I have no question about it, whether it be creative society or whatever the other group is, the other person is. It's all a collective effort, right? But there's no
Yeah.
one group that has the answers. The one thing on planet Earth, anyway, when you
Yeah.
come from another planetary system as a star seed and you recognize everything and who you are, what I again say, we have to bust the matrix. And to bust the matrix, yes, it means everything on this planet has to fall apart. Now, when I say fall apart, you say, well, we can't have everything fall apart, then we won't be able to do anything. No, that's the point. You want everything to fall apart because everything that's not falling apart is the things that has controlled this planet. All these structures, all these things, whether it be the White House, the Kremlin, or whatever you want to call it, for lack of other terminologies I can use, these are all structures that shouldn't be there. These are all artificial structures that control their own people and their own countries. Matter of fact, there shouldn't be any countries. We should all be living as one planet called Earth, one
I
planet called
absolutely agree.
Earthians. That's the way
Yeah.
we should be living.
We are
I'm going to
all
be
Earthlings.
steadfast on that point, no matter who comes on here, because it's not about one group having a beautiful broadcast and everyone's crying. I think it's great if they're doing some good things, but my focus is not concentrated on any group or any website or anything.
Yeah.
I'm here to
Yes.
bust the system. I'm here to bust this planet wide open to the point where people are shaken to the core in their consciousness and wake up. That's what people need to do, not
Oh
focus
yeah,
on any one
I
group.
agree. I want to say that I'm not encouraging anyone to join any groups
I know you're
or
not. I'm
anything
just,
else.
I'm just saying, I'm just
Um,
throwing that out there because
Yeah,
of my
there are
contact
just,
recently.
wonderful ideas everywhere. And the great idea is just to ask people what kind of society you want to live in
Mm,
and unify on the universal
yes,
values, like, on things that unify people. Like all people want to live happily, all people want
right,
technologies to serve our
right,
best interest, all people want to live without wars and so on. So let's speak up about it. If we
right,
really want to make a difference, we have to be vocal about what we want. And, we can
right,
create this wave of people really,
Exactly.
people understand that they don't like the current format. They know that systems are
mm,
collapsing. But we don't want to be under the rubble of collapsing system, right?
right,
We want to create something better, alternative. And I completely agree with you in the fact that we should not fight the existing, like, corrupt system, because it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to
correct.
create something different. So how do people, that's a very legit question for everyone in this forum, and I would love to hear answers. How do we unify and create this unified request to build a decent society around the world? Because as you said, it has to be done by people from all over the world, Russia, China,
Everybody
and
is
not their
getting some.
governments,
Everywhere.
not
Everybody
their,
The
has
way,
to
the way
yeah.
answer.
we do it, the way we do it is the reason why I'm on TikTok is this is one of the ways we do it by bringing people together, not by people coming to say, whether it be Oshkosh, Bagosh, or whatever. It's about people sharing their experiences on this UFO show. It's about, and I'm getting a little bit refocused back to it, but it's really about us creating a planetary system where people live in harmony with the universe, because we don't live in harmony with the universe. The sounds of the universe, the frequencies of sound in the universe. Has anybody ever taken time to meditate and listen to the sounds of the universe? If you
Yes.
do, it will blow your mind. You have, right? But
Yeah.
people that are so engulfed in saying, let's make a better planet and have different structures. No, let's get rid of the structures that we've created over the billions of years on Earth and create a society based on interplanetary peace and understanding. That is what I'm about. That's what this show's about. It's
The
about
society.
breaking all the matrices, no matter how good people are, no matter how good the organizations are. It's about people waking up. People need to wake up. If unless people don't wake up, then the planet has problems. But we don't have to have problems. And our timeline is that this Earth, in this particular reality, is going to be a great planet. We're not blowing ourselves up. Believe it or not, there's a parallel Earth somewhere else that's having a negative reality. Although we have problems, pockets of problems around the planet, we're going into a place of where there's going to be contact. And people need to get ready for that. We're talking about how to make the planet better. People need to get their internal house in order. When I say internal house, your physical cellular structure, your mental structure, your spiritual structure. People need to wake up. People need to get ready for direct contact with our space brothers now. And if you're not getting ready for that, you're going to be behind the eight ball. It's really, really important more than anything else in my
We will
messaging
just
now.
destroy ourselves by if we're not gonna get into the next level, if we're not gonna step up, if we're gonna let things happen in the way it's been happening, we're not gonna make it. For other civilizations, we are literally like exist or not doesn't even really makes a big difference. There is infinite of civilizations that are up there. But if we won't step up and really learn that what we already know, that we all in the same boat, but each of us try to cut piece of it, and obviously what's gonna happen? We're gonna drown, and it's
Well, we're
gonna
not
be
going to drown on this planet because it's not going to happen. What we need to do is not be
Um,
fear-based. What we need to understand is we need to get ready for contact, people.
You know,
That's
we
my
actually
biggest message.
literally may drown because that's what happened to Atlantis civilization 12,000 years
Yeah,
ago,
but
and
we're
that
not
is
going to
what the
drown.
Great Flood story exists not only in the Bible but in 140 nations around the
All
world.
right.
From Australia to North America, there are geological evidence of the Great Flood, of the great tsunamis in the places in the Midwest where there is virtually no water right now. If you follow in, geologists, the
Yeah,
one
but we
who
don't.
went
But
on Joe
let
Rogan,
me
they
jump in
talk
here. Let
about
me
it.
jump in here.
So
I'm going to jump in here.
The Great Flood
I'm
is
going
a
to jump.
real thing.
I'm going to jump in here as host. We don't subscribe to fear-based history. We don't. If you subscribe to fear-based history and you believe all that history about all those things, that's all 3D concepts of
Well, was
reality.
Atlantis real? Was Atlantis civilization real? Did they
Right.
perish? Did their island go underwater? Was that real?
There's a lot more that'll be another subject for another time. Atlantis, Lemuria, I can tell you tons of things about that from a galactic level.
They
What
were
people
washed
need to
away off
do,
the face of the
no,
planet,
let me explain
wasn't they?
something. What people need to do is not listen to be in fear of anything. There's nothing to fear. The fear is created by your consciousness. You can create fear in your consciousness through your brain reality, or you can also create light and a vibrational frequency where you have a better understanding of things. So if we go on the train on the movie of, oh, we better do this now or else our planet's going to fall apart, it's not going to be happening. I don't subscribe to that subscription, and I will never do that because I
you,
have
but
too much knowledge.
Okay,
I have too
but
much knowledge.
would you drive a car if the brakes are
I don't care
broken?
about the car. What
And
I'm trying to
I'm
say
telling you,
is,
don't get into the car because brakes are broken, and you're telling me I'm
let
still
me
gonna
say
drive and
something.
I'm not gonna fear
Uh,
rule me.
this show is not about whether we live in fear. This is about whether we're willing to step up to the
step.
plate and understand who we are
Yep.
galactically and who we are spiritually. And if you
Yes.
don't know who you are spiritually and cosmically, and you're just based on how to make the planet this way or else we're going to fall apart. There's many earth realities. There's many realities that we have not experienced yet. We've only experienced this particular reality because we were biologically born here. But
Yes.
I'll be
3D.
very, very adamant about what I'm going to say right now.
Yes,
Nobody has
Greg.
to
It's
go and
3D.
worry about the planet falling apart because it's not going to fall apart. The
Greg, I
planet is going
understand.
into
We
another.
understand what you're
Well, let me
saying.
finish what I'm saying.
I'm
The
saying.
planet's going into another vibrational frequency, with or without, whether we have 10,000 organizations, religions, or whatever on the planet, they do not matter. What matters is you. Each of you matter. To me, each and every human being matters to elevate their frequency. If you don't focus on that, I don't care how many proposals people have. You need to get your act together on a cosmic level, folks. And
There
many
is
of you
one
I'm
have.
kind of vibration that happened in Turkey in March of this year that took 300,000 people's life. It was a magnitude 8.4 earthquake. There was another one in 2004 in Thailand, great tsunami that took 300,000 people's life. So, you can think of whatever vibrations you're thinking, but if this earthquake is going to keep progressing at current rate, we're going to see magnitude 9 happening every
Okay, but
single
you're
day within
focusing.
5 to 6 years.
I'm going to say
And
this,
this
Jimmy.
this is the reality.
You're focusing. You're focusing on earthquakes. That's part of earth changes. There's nothing negative about earth changes. We're going through them. We've been going through them, and it's not a negative. You can look at it in
How
two
can I
ways.
tell it to a
Let
father
me,
in Turkey
yo,
who lost
both of
her
you guys,
daughter?
allow me.
Mother
Greg,
left building.
Tali, Greg, allow me, please. Both of you guys talking about the same thing, but as like, when the wife and the husband, they stay right next to each other and yelling, right now, allow me please to get into it, because you guys talking about literally same thing.
Yeah.
But let me say something, okay, to both of you guys. Here is the thing. What Greg is saying is that we have to step into the next level, which is become a real civilization in our universe. What Tali say is we are, but we are still biologic creatures. So you guys talking about the same thing. So what Tali say is we gotta make a next step. We cannot just jump into the vibrations and forget about that we need the food, oxygen, and even the
No, we can
spacecrafts.
jump into the vibrations. That's the thing. You have to be able to jump into the vibrations, because if you don't jump into the
Working on it,
vibrations,
yourself. I get it.
nothing changes. You have to
Yes.
jump into the vibrations. It's all about the vibrations. That's really what it's all about.
Okay.
Can
And
I say something?
Yes.
Can I interrupt you guys for a second? This is something I heard that I want to share with you with the Hopi Indian prophecy lines. Have you guys heard of this? The Hopi,
Is it about end times or?
no, Hopi prophecy lines. There basically are two lines. They say that we can go towards extinction or we can go through life continuing.
Yeah, so it's the end times. It's a time of
It's
choice,
the
of
same
crossroads.
principle as what you feed, whether you feed the wolf that is negative or you feed the wolf that is positive. So it's what we feed is what
Yes.
are going to end up in
Okay.
as a planet.
Yes.
right.
Yes. So
Um,
let me finish, you
So
guys, if you guys don't mind.
I'm going to say something.
Go
So
ahead,
I'm the
Greg.
host of the show. I'm going to say something. Being the head host of the show, and I don't usually do this, I want to end the discussion on the end times. This is not what the show's about. I've got to end this discussion. I'm going to. I'm going to take the bull by the horn. There are times when I will do this. I'm doing this for the whole viewership. There's a place and time for that. We're not going to talk about end times anymore, or about how we need to do this, or how we can't do this. So I'm going to just respectfully stop this discussion now, because I think it's all based on fear, end times. We're not about end times. We're not about fear based stuff. I'm ending the discussion. I'm stopping it. I'm putting that discussion respectfully to an end. I love you both, but I have to stop this discussion
That's
now.
fine,
I
Greg.
will.
That's fine. This is your stream. You fully
Yeah, and I love you
available.
guys. I just have to
No, we
stop the
love you too.
discussion.
We respect your opinion,
I
bro.
agree with you,
Very
yeah.
nice.
By the way, also, so much respect for the host and for Grace. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much for just host, like allowing us to be on the stream. It's a great
Oh
pleasure.
yeah, they have a great.
good night.
Okay, and I'm just
Thank
gonna
you.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
both
guys.
of you.
Bye bye for tonight. Gonna bounce, but
Okay, you take
gonna
care.
love to join.
Okay, so we have Jan here. So there are times when I have to do this, folks, because it's going far, far away from encounters and what we do here. So, I definitely, it was going too far away from where I wanted to be. And, there are times when I will take the bull by the horn and do what I need to do as host, you know?
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
It was hot. It was getting hot.
Too hot, and I don't like to have that kind of discussion here. We're not here about the ending of the world and things falling apart, and we
Yeah.
can't do anything, you
Yeah.
know?
And
And
Grace, I wanted to say thank you to you too, because like I've studied different religions, and so I've heard different, you know, what people say and whatever, like their predictions, whatever. But I've never heard the Hopi, but I've always held in my heart like a knowing that it's a choice and you make that choice. And so I just think it's beautiful that you taught me something, and I'm grateful to you. So thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. It was my way of diffusing things a little bit.
yes,
You
you
did
did good, Grace.
excellent.
And I had to get in there. Sometimes when people like to get on here, we love them, but they forget there's a host here that is the creator of the Encounters show.
Yes.
Yeah,
And there are times
we're
when I
trying to
will be,
install fear.
yeah,
It was
Definitely,
I'm
they're
also
great.
with the
they're
Ash
they're
Purple
a fear
Man,
tactic
spirit
group
tactic.
that
And
that's how they recruit people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not here
okay.
for people. It's like the Scientologists trying to recruit people. This is
Yeah.
not a place for that. We're not going to ever
Yeah.
let
Out
fear-based
of here
stuff
with
in
that.
here. I was
Right.
trying to teach them some spiritual stuff, and it wasn't happening. So, when you can't reach people, sometimes you just have to let them go, and
Yes.
that's exactly what I did. I wanted
And
to
they're
bring
very well spoken, very, alluring. And it was a lively conversation. I mean, I
it
enjoy
was
conversations like that, but maybe not just here.
not here. So
Yeah.
I've learned from that experience. If I have people come on like that, I'm not going to keep you on because we're not going to have that discussion. This is a spiritual, cosmic UFO talk show, and we're going to
Yes.
stay focused on the higher vibrational frequencies. There's plenty of other places for people to create their own lives and talk about that stuff. And there are people that will gravitate toward that. And if that's what they want to gravitate towards, fear and the falling apart of the planet Earth, go there, not here, because we know
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
You
somebody
know,
said they're evangelizing hard lately.
right?
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, guys, if you want to get educated, watch the Lost Century. Oh, it's brilliant,
Hmm.
Oh,
brilliant.
okay.
The Lost Century. You can find it on Prime and I think maybe even Netflix. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
Yeah.
it's mind opening. It's mind opening.
Hmm.
We are facing some things that we need
Hmm.
to, address as a
Right.
culture, as the world in the world. But I do
Yes.
Right.
feel what you feed is what you're going, what you are going to abide to.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always believed that for sure.
Hey,
Um,
traveling man, take care. I think Tom T's saying good night. Good night, traveling man.
oh,
I just want to say
good
good night,
night.
traveling man.
Yeah.
So, um, I have kind of a specific scenario that I kind of wanted to come to you guys and ask your opinion about. So I work with children.
Hmm.
It's ever since, and at this point I don't care what anybody thinks, but ever since I saw the Phoenix Lights, it was very like life changing for me.
Hmm.
And things, and I was 16 at that time. Okay, so I mean, I was like any typical teenager, but then things turned around and they didn't matter. Certain things didn't matter anymore. And what was more important to me that really stuck out is that saying, like, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Hmm.
And so I made it a point in my life, because of my journeys and my adventures up to that point, that I was going to work with our most fragile of human beings. So I started working with special needs students and just doing what I can to just make their lives better in
Yeah.
general. So my thing is how, like, I do it in the way I help them is through teaching, obviously. So how do you teach those children, or do they need to be taught, that are, maybe not as self-aware? They're developmentally delayed, or they're autistic, and how do you know when they get there if you do need to teach them?
Right. That's absolutely true. It takes time. I mean, well, being, that you are open spiritually and cosmically, the way to teach those children will be from your beautiful experience of light. And I think in some ways you might be able to tune into them by listening to them. I've never had to deal with those situations, but if you are
Well,
familiar with those
Captain,
situations,
I've been teaching for 16 years, and all I can say is that with all those children, you just approach them with love
yeah,
and kindness,
Absolutely.
as if
that's
they were your
Hang on,
own
hang on. I
children,
wanted to hear the rest
and
of Commander's
and you
point about
just
Earth. Hang
I
on,
was
hang
gonna
on one second.
what I was
Go
gonna say
on, go on,
is
hang on.
simply if you're connecting with them, there's a reason. You have a mission
yeah.
to connect with those children,
And
and because
Captain, we've talked about this before, about people being drawn to you and being more open
yes,
to you as you shine your light, because the they gave it to you.
yes,
from the otherworldly, so they give you that light, and so then those children, whoever community members, are drawn to you because the that power was given to you from, I
Before it
believe,
came here,
them, the
before I came to
others,
Earth,
or whatever.
however it
and
works. Yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I
so
absolutely
they're
believe
drawn to
that
you, and so
because
just lead with your heart and you'll
Yeah.
be
yeah,
fine.
You
yeah.
will.
Yeah, and I do believe that, and I practice that every day, and it's funny because I've
It's a
noticed
hard
here
job,
lately.
and I praise you for it.
Oh,
That's
thank
one of the
you.
most difficult jobs
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, it
Are
is.
you self-contained, spec?
Yeah, I work in a level C medically fragile classroom.
Wow.
And have you been abused, like physically?
Um, no, I haven't. I have
Good.
cerebral
Blessings.
palsy.
That's
I
good.
have cerebral palsy, and so that's what brought me
Oh,
between that and an experience that I had. That's what brought me to the realization that I mean, it started
need
with I
help
just need to
in that
be the voice
arena.
for those who don't have one.
Yeah, and for me as a teacher, I have teacher friends who've been like
Hmm.
severely injured in
Hmm.
self-contained rooms, and it's because it's all about the vibe in your aura and coming in with love and
Hmm.
not fear, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, most of my students are bigger than me, but I'm certainly not scared of them at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
love them all. They are my buddies, and it's nothing but love. And as a matter of fact,
Hmm.
I am literally currently working on giving a young man a voice. He's nonverbal, and
Hmm.
I'm teaching him sign language so he can
Oh
communicate
wow.
with the rest of the world.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
he will be the first one of our students to be to basically understand, not necessarily communicate in it, but understand three different languages because he is from another country and he does know English as well, plus his native language, and I'm teaching him
Oh
sign
wow.
language. So it's
Beautiful.
super impressive because this young man, his diagnosis was bleak. And when I came into my position, I said, oh no, there's no bleak here. The light shines bright here, and that's just how it's going to be. And I've
Hmm.
just stuck with that. And I don't know. Like, they help me as much as I help them, like, to be honest with you. They
Hmm.
keep me going when my legs are done. I'm like, nope,
Mhm.
take those 5 extra steps,
Wow.
or, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've always wondered because I'm just like, do we need to teach them, or are they already there? I mean, in some instances, I think that they're already at that level.
Yeah.
Um, excuse my lack of
It
better
it
term, but
for
they're already
me,
there.
it's so funny that you're on here talking about education when I've been a teacher for 16 years, and the fact that you're in here talking about making these positive changes. And I've mentioned about how when I drive to work each day, I get those downloads, and it's like, well, the creator, well, there's this force,
Right.
whatever you call it, that inspires us each day as we
Hmm.
drive to work, or what we're going to do to interact with the community. And for me, it's otherworldly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It
it's
it's
really is.
definitely
very
beautiful.
positive. It's very positive, and it's very strict. And the instructions each day, like, this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
So when I drive to work, I'm just, in the zone. And the downloads come every day, every day. So when I go to teach my classes, so many hundreds of students, I give them what they downloaded to me on the way. It's always positive. It's always exactly where it needs to be in the educational process. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that interaction and that support from them.
So I'm going to add to that. I want to answer your question a little bit, if I could, about communication.
Yes, please.
And you were asking about communication with them. My daughter had worked with special needs children for many years in a few different areas. And we used to have this conversation very often because she was working with very closely with a person who was totally non-responsive,
Okay.
completely quadriplegic. Everything was non-responsive.
Yes.
And we used to talk about this a lot and discuss, whether or not she could communicate with him. So it was a good opportunity for us to figure out a way that you can use your skills, use your clairs, so to speak, to communicate with them and to feel if there was something coming through. So your telepathy, your clairaudience, clairsentience, goes on. There's like 9 different clairs.
Yes.
And it's a good opportunity to tune those and see if you can feel, touch, smell, taste, feel in the body, feel in a vision, and see if what happens. I feel like that would be a beginning for you.
Okay. And it's funny that you say that. Thank you, Grace, because I also learned Reiki about the same time when I was 16, and I've used that a lot as a communication or connection tool
Hmm.
with, with the spiritual world in general. And it's just been my guide, for lack of better term. If I get the warm fuzzy feelings, I know it's good. If it's not, then we gravitate away. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for taking the time to answer. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
my pleasure.
And we're getting to 1:40. We're getting to actually no 1:47. It's 1:32 a.m. in the morning, and I always love these discussions. And then I look at the clock, and we're on the East Coast, and I say, I got to
Oh,
get some.
Captain.
We
Oh,
got some
Captain.
rest. You know.
Yes.
So I want to just gently thank everybody for being here tonight on the show. It's been at times very kind of lively in a different way, but we've
I have
gotten
a
refocused
question for
back.
you, Captain, before we go.
Yes.
Um, so I sent you a video last time I was on live with you. You said, I want a video. Can you send me some video of
Mm,
what's in my neighborhood or whatever?
yeah.
Right?
About contact or encounters.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, so the very next day, like I did a video and then I was gonna post it on TikTok, and then I was like, no, I can't because, my content is not about that. My content on my TikTok is all about, family, fun stuff, not like UFOs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted it for a little bit, took it down, posted it, and then tagged you on it. And it was, swear to God, they were right here. And it was so
Yeah.
funny because you asked for the video. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll try. And then they show up. And then I sent it to you. And then he was like, oh, it looks like flashing lights. Well, yeah. It was
Yeah.
flashing
I probably
lights.
need to look at
Oh,
that video again.
well,
I've
I
been,
took
so many
it
things have
down. I
happened.
took it down.
John,
Oh, you
John,
I'm
did?
I
just so
remember
paranoid.
you. I remember you. You
I do
came
too.
Yeah.
on
So
while your
then
daughter was
here,
having a party. You were having a party with
Right.
kids.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And
And
you
so
were just
then,
talking about your experiences for the first time. You were like
That's right. He
sharing.
was.
I remember you.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
So
trying to
then
place you and I
here,
couldn't.
then you guys were like, "Oh yeah, send me a video." And I was like, "Okay, I'll try," And then
I do remember the
freaking,
party and everything you were
freaking,
dealing with
like
too.
yeah, my we had a little we had a slumber party last night too, so everybody's always over. Anyways, so
Yeah.
here I was taking the video, and then I sent it to you, and you said, "Oh, it looks like flashing lights," and I was like, maybe look a little closer, because it was like one light was flashing forever, and then there was another one
Yeah.
like 100 feet or more away flash. So it was, and then I'm filming it, and then all of a sudden it starts moving and moving and moving closer to me, and it makes a sound as if it's like a plane, but a plane from like a long time ago,
Yeah.
like a weird plane sound. Like, how is that plane coming over in the middle of the
Right.
night? Like, it should be a helicopter, or like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a jet or a regular plane. And the plane, like, I'm sitting here filming it, and it wasn't moving. And then all of a sudden it starts coming at me, and then gets over my house and makes a sound like a weird ass, like, plane from the 1950s. I'm like, what the frick is that?
Right.
But yeah, they're here all the time. I don't try to take too many pictures or videos or whatever, because I'm just trying to enjoy my moment, you know.
And we'll bring
But
Dennis
thank you
Bonham
for
on
your
for a minute.
time, Captain.
Yeah, we'll bring one more guest on. I'll let Dennis Bonham said massive UFOs. I want to get to that story.
And
Hey,
I'm
Dennis.
going to be going to bed soon. Hello, it's nice. It's nice
Yeah,
meeting you
we're all
guys.
gonna. Nice
Let me
to meet
turn
you.
this up,
Welcome
and I
to
want
our
to read this
show. I
one.
think I'm gonna make sure I'm following you too. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna follow you now. There you go.
I'll be back too,
Oh,
because I actually want to get some exposure on the story that I'm about to tell you about.
okay.
So in Anaheim, California, and the reason I want
Okay.
to get exposure, the reason I want to get exposure on it is because of the population in the area when it happened. I know other people seen it too. Um, So when I was probably 10, so I think it was like 1996. It was 1995, 1996. And I'm California. Where I was at, it was the corner of Orange Street, Orange Avenue, and
Mm-hmm.
Knott Avenue. Obviously, you guys know Orange County, California is a very populated area. There was a massive. Okay, let me start off by my parents, my brother, and my two sisters were walking. We walked to 7-Eleven to get some ice cream. We were walking back home. I'm Dennis Jr. My dad looks at, or my mom calls out to my dad and says, "Dennis, what is that?" and points up at the sky. I immediately looked up. At this point in my life, I was watching like sightings and all that. I was deathly afraid of aliens, UFOs, all that. Super
Mm-hmm.
scary. I looked up. I'm here to tell you, I've only been that scared one other time in my life, and it was when
Mm-hmm.
I had sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I froze in place, and there
Hmm.
was this massive like dome. Okay, I compare it to like the Pizza Hut dome, but it was more squared off kind of dome. The thing was the
Right.
size of two football fields, completely white, sitting in the sky
Wow.
over, like I said, Anaheim, California. I have been trying for like 15 years to
Mm-hmm.
reach out to people online I've got to put actually two videos up on this TikTok about it. I want to try to reach other people that seen it too. My entire family's seen it. I know other people seen it.
Yeah.
So after this all happened, like I'm crying to my dad and my mom. I'm only 10 years old, and I'm like just about peeing my pants. I'm so scared. Um, Not a joke. It scared the living crap out of me. My dad's like telling everybody we gotta hop in the truck and go like look at this thing closer. And I'm
Yeah.
freaking no, 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 no. You need to call like the Army, Navy, somebody to do something about this. Because a little backstory on like the sightings thing, I was telling my parents like I was afraid of it, and they were like, "Don't worry, they don't exist," and blah 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 blah. It's all fake. So shock to me, my parents telling me they're fake, and bam, this big UFO in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my dad got us in the truck and went through these neighborhoods where this thing was. By the time we got back in the truck and got outside, it was gone. It just disappeared.
Wow.
My dad, this is the other creepy part of the whole thing. My dad had called, so when we got back in the house to go get his keys and everything, my dad had called the police station. I think it was the police station and somebody else. And they were like, we know we've got hundreds of calls about this. We're looking into it. We're trying to find out what it was. So
Right.
my dad lets them go. We all hop in the vehicle. We go through these neighborhoods, and the thing's gone, but everybody is outside of their like apartments and houses, and they're all looking up at the sky. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, hundreds of people, if not thousands, seen this thing. I
Yeah.
want to. I want people to come forward that's seen it too.
I think it's just a good show. My show is a good place to ask that question because we have people in California, and I think it's great that you came on here and now a part of the show. And hopefully a regular watcher. Our show is usually late night at around 11 Eastern. So we're glad to have you with us, and I'm glad you're reaching out for people in California to contact you because you know it's important. What year was this sighting? Do you
It was
remember?
it was 1996, or I got to do the math on it. I was 10 years old, so I'm 38 now. Um, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was either 1996 or 1995.
Wow. Well, that's pretty incredible. You just reminded me of the sighting I had in Naugatuck, Connecticut, here on the East Coast back in the 80s. I came out of a club. I was doing reggae with albums, roots music, and getting prepared for the weekend. I go out into Desley, the parking lot, not many cars, and there's a supermarket chain called Stop and Shop directly across from the club. And then behind that's all woods, and then there's a condo complex or something on a hill, and then the McDonald's below the hill on a thing called Rubber Avenue. As I go out, I hear a voice say to me, "Look up." Plain English, look up. I see a spaceship, 2 football fields in length, spinning above the condo complex. It was so low, it was spinning, and then it shot out 2 lights that created geometry above me like they were showing me geometry. One was red and one was like a yellowish light. There were balls of light, and behind it was these lines that they were creating in the sky above me, and they were showing me something. And I still don't even to this day, I don't even understand what it is. I do know it was some sort of geometry, but I never said. So you made me remember that story just by telling that story. That there are spaceships that can come this low for whatever reason. They want people to see them and they want us to know, hey, look, we are here, we do exist. We're just going to show you a little bit. Who knows what area they're going, like your area, California, Connecticut, whatever. If they want to show themselves, they will. They're whatever reason we don't sometimes know. I know more now than I did back then, but I think the thing is just like when you were a kid. I think the reason they show themselves is to say, hey, look, we're here. We're a civilization from somewhere else. We want you to know. We don't want to freak you out, but human nature is people get freaked out. They're fearful. They don't
Yeah.
understand it, right? And if we
Yeah.
get over the mental fear, then we have to start learning about, okay, who are these beings? Where did they come from? What's their purpose? Why are they here? So it's basically to get us to wake up. So we get in fear because we've never experienced it, but now we're going to wake up, right? So now when you're in your 30s, you're much more attuned to things, I think, than you were when you were fearful of the experience. I think you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to understand it. On this show, what's good about here is you'll learn that we have a spiritual understanding. I'm a contactee, so I've had contact. So I try to bring people to understand that there's something else going on. The reason why you saw it, maybe there's a connection you have with those space people, or maybe
I
many
do.
people have a connection.
I do want to talk about that a little bit. So I don't talk about my other experiences because I didn't have people with me
Right.
when I experienced it. I have experienced other things. I don't talk about them because I didn't have other people with me. That at
Right.
that time, I had my entire family. We all seen it.
You all
And I
seen it.
Yep, and I do want to reply to some people in here. They were saying that it would be 1995 because I was born in 85. Not necessarily. I was born at the end of 85. My birthday is December
Oh,
1st.
okay. The
So
185. Okay.
could have been it could have been 1996.
Yeah.
That's really funny because in 1996, that's when the Phoenix Lights happened.
Yep, I
And
Yeah.
a lot of people, I mean, Phoenix is humongous, like humongous. And
Yeah.
tons of people saw it. And I think it's like, I understand because you were young and I understand you being scared.
Yeah. Me
Because
too.
as a society, especially at that time, I mean, that it was taboo, and it's right along with the monster under the bed, you know what I mean? And so it's I'm grateful that you are able to say, I was scared. I didn't know. I was 10. I had been
Right.
told for so long that,
Mm.
it's not real or whatever. And I'm grateful that you've been able to have that turnaround, because I know, like, our experiences that we've had here, it's made a difference.
Well,
So
so for me at the time, I was afraid because, like I said, I was watching that show Sightings. If you guys remember that from like the early '90s, that
Yeah,
show
I do.
Sightings. Yeah, so I was watching that. It was always abduction stories, these like
Yeah.
really stories about all that, and it scared the crap out of me. And again, there are experiences I had when I was younger than that. I don't talk about them
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any other witnesses to it. So I feel like I sound like a crazy person talking about any of it. Um,
Well, not anymore, because 30 years later, the people that were considered crazy, like all of us, are now the ones that everyone's looking to for information. Because if you look back, we have all this media now with the disclosure hearings that happened in Washington, with people taking it seriously. We've had a government for 70 years that has lied to the public all over the world
mhm.
about our space brothers and sisters who have been here, coming in different kinds of weird spaceships, large motherships, whatever. So you're not crazy anymore. As a matter of fact, watching this show, you're going to see a lot of people that are here that have had experiences, and you're not alone anymore. You're now part of a much larger community than you've ever thought there would be. That's why I do the show. I've been on radio for 20 years on NPR radio doing a show called Cosmic High, Ashtar Command Radio. So there's a lot of things you're going to find here that you'll feel very comfortable here. We have a great community of people watching the show, and this is a show where people can actually share their experiences. Hey, Grace, good night. I know it's getting almost near 2 o'clock on the East Coast, and we're getting towards the end of the show. Alex, I'm sorry I didn't get you to speak there before. We're going to get Alex on tomorrow night. But I wanted Dennis to have you on here to share this, and I hope you'll join us again. I'm following you. Everyone follow Dennis. And, this is all a really big TV show and community of people that have had similar experiences, so you're not alone anymore. Just
That's
to
right.
let you know that.
And I'm hoping if this channel is big enough, like I said, I want to get more people. I just want to talk to people that's seen that.
Yeah,
Because I like
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
one instance that I know that so many other people seen it. I'm sure there's other people in here that had experiences that were like that, and I know they know that feeling. Like you want others to talk to about it.
Right. That's right. Well, Dennis, thanks for being here. I also want to encourage people to support what I'm doing here. If you haven't sent me any gifts, I once in a while during the show, keep forgetting it. Any TikTok gifts, please do so now for the work we're doing. Thank you for the enjoy music symbol. Any galaxies or anything. Our show, what I do, I'm dedicated to this 100%. What I'm doing on the mission here. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Dennis, thank you for joining us for the first time.
Thank you
And
for
we're
that.
glad. I'm really glad you shared that story. I hope people reach out to Dennis. And if you live in California and you're in that time period of having it happen, you all need to connect and get to know each other, because it's important. Hey, Grace, thank you, Gracie, thank you for that. And we appreciate you very much, man. Thanks for being on here.
Thank you. You guys have a good night, and I'll just be here tomorrow. I want to talk more about this stuff. So
Oh yeah, you can definitely do so. And Alex, if you're there, we'll get you on. I missed you. I should have had you speak first, but I just got in the groove of things here. So take care, Dennis. And
Yep.
also, Jan, I want to thank you for being here too.
Of course. And Dennis, before you leave, if you want to talk about your situations, feel free to message me. I did follow you.
Okay.
Like I have my own experiences, so we can swap stories, Dennis. So,
Yeah, see? That's the beauty of this show. I hope you and Dennis do connect with each other on that for sure. Hey, take care. He said for sure. So hey, Jan, take care in Phoenix. Have a great night.
all right, you too. Bye bye.
All right, take care. And this is Command host of the #1 UFO spiritual talk show, Encounters. We'll take a few more gifts here before we go. So if you haven't gifted the show and you have TikTok coins, any gift you want, small or big, would be very helpful. If you want to go to my main page, you can do my Venmo, Cash App, and also become a subscriber. I have 37 of 100 monthly subscribers. We're looking to get 100. That goes to our C5 equipment that we're going to use for our C5 group. So I appreciate it. We'll wait for some more people to send some gifts over. So who wants to do gifting? Please do it now with your TikTok coins. If you don't have TikTok coins, that's fine too. We welcome everybody here, regardless of gifting, but we would encourage people to help us like Gracie did with the Galaxy. Maybe you want to do a whale or some other crazy thing. Thank you, The Who. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Courtney, thank you. I'm just going to do, usually I always near the end of the show like to do the gifting part, having people do gifting. It really shows me a lot of love and support for what we do. We love you, Commander, and thank you for an amazing show. UFO UAP, I hope you're doing well. We love you too, Lewis, and I hope you feel better. I'm very sick tonight, Commander. We're going to send you, Hootis, some energy, healing energy, before I go. I didn't know you were sick. I hope you feel better. We'll send some energy there too. All right, everybody, thank you for being here. I'm going to go to sleep. Everybody have a great, great weekend, what's left of it. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies. Oh, Gracie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And have a good night, everybody.